at least compete. Don't tell me top 4.
Yeah, but top 4 is competing. Top 4 this season is not competing.
Top 4 is not competing, Lawrence. Lawrence, top 4 is not competing at all.
But you didn't ask me how tight that is. We could finish third and be like,
because there's never been a 4-horse race. So is in my eyes, top 4 is not competing.
City are back next year.
There's never been a 4-horse race.
City will be back next year.
So that's
Arsenal will be very strong next year.
Okay.
You could make the case that Liverpool will be in that, as I answered, the team in third, right?
Third, and you just won the league. That's embarrassing.
You're not listening to the words you're saying.
Brother, let him land.
I did.
Man. Favorite white men.
From my left.
You started? We started?
There will never be an episode of this show
Where he asked that.
where he doesn't ask that question.
Is it?
We've just started, yeah.
Who's your white favorite? Other than Harry Enfield.
That's a great question.
Billy Jones.
Lawrence Antigua
Present
given.
company. Alan Partridge.
Pardew.
Alan Partridge. Which one's Alan Partridge again?
Steve Coogan.
Aha.
Steve Coogan. He always confused me because he had 2 names. Oh, Bob Mortimer.
Oh, yeah.
Bob
it's up
Mortimer's a great white guy.
Yeah.
That's
Bob
such a good white guy.
Miles, who's that? How come me and Miles don't know who Bob Boogaloo is? Who's
You're
that?
sort of like, and I mean this in the best way, the black Bob Mortimer.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
it?
we were saying
Yeah, yeah.
yesterday, we want Bob Mortimer here.
Yeah,
to
he'd be
talk
amazing.
about Middlesbrough with
Middlesbrough.
specs.
Is it?
I need to meet him.
Is he not?
Me too. Can I tell you a story? I've always got a story.
You've always got
Ludi. Bob Mortimer came into the comedy world with a partner, right? The partner's name is...
It was Bob Mortimer and I just remember them as the 2 guys from that show. He had the glasses, didn't he? And
Vic
the hair
Reeves.
slicked back. Vic Reeves.
Vic Reeves is his partner.
Oh,
I didn't
that's
know
his
that.
name.
Him and Vic and Bob, they were a
Oh, so
comedy
he knows.
duo.
I know his face, but I didn't know his name.
Vic and Bob were a comedy duo.
Okay.
Before Vic Reeves joined the comedy duo with Bob Mortimer, he lived with my dad.
Your dad lived with Vic Reeves.
Look how happy he lives.
Why?
I just know how random my stories
Were
are.
they friends or like?
So when he says a random story,
yeah.
it's true. But when I say a random story, it's never true.
Yeah, but your stories are...
When I've got a story like that, I back it up with a phone call. Phone your pups now. Man. Look, he's speaking. He's such a. No, this guy's a liar.
It is so never worth phoning my dad, especially not on speakerphone. Oh my God.
Would he remember that?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they were friends.
How old was he when he was rooming with him?
Early 20s probably.
Oh,
How old was your dad when he had you?
30.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
Did they?
I shouldn't imagine so.
Vic Reeves.
I shouldn't imagine
Did
so.
they? Did they what? Go ahead.
Nah, did they? That's what I need to know, man.
It's a good question.
It's a
It's
great
good-
question.
It's a
fair
valid
yeah.
question, I think.
He was in comedy, isn't you know? But he's from Newcastle, I think, Vic Reeves.
Yeah.
Because Bob Mortimer's from Middlesbrough.
Are these guys? Are any of these guys funnier than Harry Enfield?
Yes, Bob Mortimer.
Bob Mortimer's
Yeah.
funnier than Harry Enfield. Is that your great white?
Yeah, man.
What, Harry Enfield? You go?
Harry Enfield and Chums is world class, man.
Mine's Chris Morris.
I know that name.
4 Lions.
Yeah,
Day to
I
day.
saw him walking his dog in Brixton like a year ago.
All right.
He's a hermit, I think.
That's too
Yeah,
many.
yeah, yeah.
That's too many.
I love Chris Morris.
It's too many. Let me see Chris Morris's face right now.
Oh, you're not going to love his face.
He ain't got a good face.
I mean, I think he's quite striking looking, but he
Yeah.
does have. I think he's got quite a big birthmark
God.
on his face in real life.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
God.
it's like he used to have acne or something.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That is a striking face.
it is a striking
Yeah.
face.
But he's the biggest comedy genius in the UK ever.
100%. Did you ever watch Nathan Barley? Nathan
Definitely
Barley
not.
was him and Charlie
Googling
Brooker.
all these names, by the way.
Him-
I like Charlie Brooker.
They wrote a show about Shoreditch in like 2002, and honestly, watch it now. It's about Shoreditch now. It's perfect.
Nathan Barley, okay. Studies face.
Come on, give us your great white.
Don't have one, man.
What's Rodney's name from Only Fools and Horses and that?
Nicholas
Lyndhurst.
Lyndhurst.
And
yeah.
he's in the new series, the reboot of Frasier.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. What with? Is he one of the family of the other?
No, I think the reboot of Frasier is based on him going to a pub every day. I've never watched the reboot of Frasier, but
Isn't that Cheers?
Right, boys, enough of the white talk. All right, enough of the white talk. There's three black guys don't know what you guys are talking about, man.
You know what Frasier is.
Yeah, of course.
You know who Kelsey Grammer is. That's a
Do you remember me telling you on the phone, if these two meet,
yeah.
we have to sit in the crowd and watch their show?
No, that's true.
It's the first time you've met, by the way.
Yeah, we never
Yeah.
met before.
yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Oh no, they spoke straight away.
This is my dream.
He didn't even take his coat off. He just
This
sat
is my
down.
Jordy,
Straight away.
How many times did I say Tigo needs to be Lawrence? How many times did I say
Side on straight
Every day.
away.
this is my dream? They're the same.
Well, I don't think we're the same.
I think I can see why we get on.
No, but I want to see you lot argue, so I'm going to make that happen today.
All right, go on then. I'm
I'm
good.
going to make that happen today.
I was going to say this is not much football content so far.
No,
we
this
get
is
into
from
that.
my left. We don't start.
Why are you guys
there.
talking like I've not seen what you do? Like you're treating me like a white guy right now. Do you know what you do when they come on the show and they go, so this guy, is he the controversial one? No, I understand. Okay. Yes.
Subscribe.
That's another issue we have on this show.
Subscribers.
From my left. Oh my God.
I'm trying to think of a great white, but I'll get there. No, but I'll get there.
Charlie Chaplin.
My brain doesn't work like that. It will come to me. I just
Charlie
can't force
Chaplin
it.
used to live in Brixton.
Born in Liverpool, I think.
Oh, really? Is that right?
Oh no, boys, we got to stop them too. Do you know what? Remember when the ref stops the fighters? That we're going to have to do that today.
Saw him in Brixton.
I didn't see him in Brixton. I saw Chris Morris in Brixton.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your favourite person you've ever seen in London, like, around? Do you know the best person I've ever seen in the wild? Vince McMahon.
Where? Where?
He was driving in a Hummer down the road in London.
All right, so they're the same. So is there any? Can you make a phone call that proves that this happened?
So why would you want me to validate a story about a guy driving a car? No one gives a just a good passing story, you move on.
Geordie told us yesterday Reece James drove past us. I just accepted it. Yesterday.
Why would you not accept that? That's so feasible in London.
What car was he in?
Bentley.
Makes
I
sense.
thought the same one day.
What was the reg?
That's not
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, what was the reg? You got to prove it. Let's
It
Google
was,
it.
like, it was like a pearl grey.
Oh, okay, little pearlescent thing.
I like that.
So when you saw Vince, what did you chase the car? Or
I was 15 at the time. I couldn't believe my
But how
luck.
did you know it was Vince in the car? Was he driving?
No, I saw him get out with a blonde woman who at the time I just thought was Deborah because obviously I was a teenage boy.
Cold, check your mirrors, man.
And then they just walked into a big building.
Hotel.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably was a hotel.
I have to go in there. I have to go. Like, even if I have to pretend to clean the hotel, I need to meet Vince, man, in a lift at least.
I'm trying to think who the best random celebrity I've
Best
seen. out
random
and about
celebrity.
is. It's actually a
Ooh.
great question. I remember seeing Marcel Desailly on the platform for Eurostar.
That's cool.
Yeah, I liked that.
I once saw Andrei Shevchenko with two much younger women either side of him.
Fair.
Yeah.
What? Shevchenko, boy.
That was in Ukraine as well.
He's a politician as well, isn't he? Now?
He is now.
Is
yeah.
he?
Yeah.
I did sit with Besson on a plane. Me expressions of Besson,
Bad story.
but expression didn't know Besson was.
Oh my God.
And he's about Spurs.
Bro, Besson was Pele in Selfridges, bro. No one knew.
Boys, one thing I just remembered is USA lost to Panama. Cool. I didn't realize Poch is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one spoke about that.
No,
And everyone
true.
was talking about how good it was going to be, and he was talking about how they're going to progress, and then it was like, oh, and we lost to Panama. I think they lost to Panama before as well.
Yeah,
Like,
it
there
was
was a
two
big
legs,
problem.
wasn't it?
Mexico
Yeah.
won that CONCACAF yesterday, innit?
Mexico, good.
Yeah,
Is it?
they won it.
Who they beat in the final?
I think
Panama.
Panama, yeah. I think they beat Panama, yeah.
International football's messed up.
Raul Jimenez scored.
I'll never watch that. When I saw Canada and America playing the other day, like I said, and it was empty. For me, I was disappointed.
That's a derby, innit?
It's a derby.
It's a derby, man.
Arsenal can't play Tottenham and there's seats.
It's a derby in hockey, though, isn't it? It's not really a derby in. I suppose derby in
No,
football,
but the
maybe.
seats. I bet you put it out, T.
Where?
Look how much it was.
Where were they
Canada.
playing? No, where were they
Look
playing,
how many
though?
seats were empty. It looked like it's training session.
It was a third, fourth place playoff though.
Yeah, that's.
We're not going to that. We're not going to that.
Oh, I knew something was wrong.
If I had any blood in the CONCACAF region, I would identify. I'd want to be in one of those teams.
Have you got blood anywhere else?
Obviously, Ireland. But
Okay.
But that's not CONCACAF, sadly.
It's not.
I wish to just float a bit that way. I'll be much happier. It's just the best life because you get to leave the Premier League for a couple of weeks. Say you play for Jamaica, or say you play for just any of those guys, right? You just get to go and spend time in an amazing
said this
hotel
for years.
and play an easy team. Oh, Canada are turning up. Oh no, do you know what I mean?
Canada.
Yeah, the Jamaican guys, like they're just chilling. They're
Go
having a-
and train your training camps in Barbados.
Exactly.
2 weeks of just training,
Steve
beach
McLaren.
swimming. Yeah.
It's just a vibe as well, and you're with your countrymen as well.
I'd just say
Mad.
also Jamaica's new assistant manager, Paul Simpson.
Yeah, because Jamaica's manager is Steve McLaren.
Wait, hold on.
Paul Simpson
Great
is, of
White.
course,
Yeah.
Great, right?
Great White,
the father of
Bart Simpson.
Danny Simpson.
Joe Simpson.
Joe Simpson.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember now. That rings a bell.
Who's Joe Simpson?
We work with him. and his dad is now the assistant manager of Jamaica.
Niche chat.
I need to know. You know what, right? When I meet people, they need to tell me if they got an important dad from now on.
Yeah, my dad's lived with Vic Reeves.
Who's got the most important dad here?
Oh,
Probably me.
What is
you
your
don't
dad
have a
do?
dad.
My dad was a ground seller in
Groundskeeper.
So he was sell land. That's important. That's a big deal.
It's pretty big.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
big. He's
How much
providing
land
for the
did he
community.
But like kilometers of land. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
Hectares, probably.
Hectares.
Hectares of land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hectares. So
I'm going to give it to you.
My dad was once in a sketch by Paul Kay. Do you know Paul Kay? Dennis Pennis. Do you remember Dennis
your dad's
Pennis?
black. Now I'm thinking, your dad's black. Your dad could do. His dad could do anything he wants.
My dad was friends with Paul Kay. Don't ask me why I know why
That's
he was
cool,
friends
man.
with all these people.
Right, T, was your dad a comedian?
Was he in the TV world?
If he was a Canadian, no.
Was he
Hey,
comedian?
do you want to know what Paul K looks like?
Yes.
Now or then?
Oh, I know him.
Of
Yeah,
course,
you will.
Game of
He was
Thrones.
in-
Yeah.
What did your dad do to him?
He was friends with him.
He was also in Afterlife.
I
That's a good
Afterlife, yeah.
I watched the 2002 FA Cup final, Arsenal versus Chelsea, at his house.
That's a great claim to fame. That is really good.
Break up.
That's really cool. Because also it would have been like peak of his powers at that time.
A lot of the comedians around that time, like the Fast Show guys, they were Arsenal fans, and there were people from like the Fast Show.
Harry Enfield. Harry Enfield would have.
Legend.
No, he's not.
Legend.
No, he's not.
Because that game was in Cardiff, so people didn't want to go to Cardiff back then.
Your dad's a stand-up comedian, right?
No.
He has to be.
If my dad was a stand-up comedian, I'd
Your
have
dad
phoned
used
him.
to make your mum laugh. That's how you. That's why you.
How about that? I don't think I've ever seen
why
my.
you're
I
here.
don't think I've ever seen my dad make my mum
That's why
laugh.
you're here. You get out of here, T.
Important dads, yeah. Your dad's important.
Who's your dad?
Yeah, he's an actor. But
Yeah.
my uncle's more of a known actor.
You can't say that your uncle's more important than your dad's. Your dad's
He's not.
gonna
He's not.
like
It's my
that.
dad's my dad. But obviously within
The acting world,
industry-
yeah.
acting world, there.
Mayweather said that though. Floyd Mayweather said that his uncle was way more important.
more influential.
Oh, influential.
There's a
Okay,
difference.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Can't say your
That's
dad's-
still worse.
Nah, it's not.
Still worse.
How?
Of course.
Someone's more influential with
No,
their
I'm
life.
still, but still, I'm not having that.
How? It's your uncle.
Son, my son's still rating my brother. That's dead.
What? Because he was in jail.
I don't care, jail or outside. Whatever.
that's your fault. That's
I
the
need
dad's
to be.
fault.
I need to be ahead of my brother, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that means you should have handled business like a man. Not go to
I'm
jail.
not. I'm not Floyd Mayweather's dad, by the way. Don't talk to me like that, man.
Wow.
Let me introduce the panel. We've done a lot of content here.
Introduce
without
it, man.
introducing the
Introduce it,
panel.
man. Let's go. Let's turn up.
From my left, I'm actually going to say, people say we say the word legend too much, but let's be honest, in this space, in this world, we've got a legend with us
Of
here
course,
right now.
man. Of course.
We've got a pioneer. We've got an icon.
Honestly, he's a bit of a myth to me. I've always heard the name. I've never seen him ever. In fact, I opened the door and said, "Hello, mate. You all right?" And he said, "I'm Lawrence." I said, "Oh,
Oh, you're talking about me. I thought you said from your left. Oh, right, I get it.
My
okay.
left,
Yeah, you're
you
right. Sorry, my
there.
bad. Okay,
Goes-
yeah.
It
Right.
scoops around.
Was it Laurence McKenna?
Yeah.
McKenna.
You didn't know his name?
I knew it was one of those ones.
When
Lawrence.
he had long hair.
is Boovy's name Lawrence?"
Yes, but it's spelled
Yeah, it is.
differently.
That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Lawrence McKenna.
Nice intro. Thanks for that. Thank you. That was lovely.
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Next on the panel.
I got an
he-
uncle called Lawrence.
There you go. Is he famous?
Oh,
There you go.
he's not famous, but he's been very influential in my community.
Floyd Mayweather's community.
No. He was.
What community?
He's close friends with the Ghanaian president.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Yeah, my uncle Lawrence. Yeah.
Right, he's very influential in my community.
Yeah, because obviously when they opened up, there was a big community, like a big community center in my ends, Northwest 10,
Got
called Brent Park,
Got you.
and he was like one of
I
the
actually know the place.
Yeah, one of the founders, not founders, but helped like fund it and stuff.
You know, I'm very sure that the African guy he's talking about is not the president of Ghana, but he's saying he is.
No, because he went over there not too
Africans
long
are good
ago.
at that.
He went over to Ghana not too long ago, and they invited him and stuff. Like from back in the
Yeah,
day.
but so did PK. It's a vibe over there.
Yeah.
It's like
No, but then
Ghana's a
he
vibe.
went to a club. My uncle went to a palace.
Oh, was it definitely a palace? Yeah.
Yeah. Proper stuff. If I phone Uncle Lawrence now, it's mad.
Yeah, don't call him. I don't want to talk to him.
That's what I mean. Not everyone's worth calling.
No.
Yeah, but you
Your
didn't live
dad
with Vic Reeves, to be
is
fair.
worth
That's
calling.
a big one. Yeah.
Your dad is worth calling.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to phone your dad.
Yeah.
Phone your dad. Next on the panel, he just got all his album guest verses through, but maybe there's more coming. But there's big news coming from Geordie in 2025.
Man,
Are you finished your album?
no, but I'm close.
Can I ask you one thing?
Go ahead.
Can you say a bar of my name in it?
He did, but he was talking about another Miles.
Does that still give you a semi?
No, I just want him to. I want him to reference our show or say something just with a bar.
Oh,
with
you
our
want to have
names
it
in
from my left bar on the album?
Yeah. and you have to just say each one of our names.
Flipping heck, man.
That's a technical verse.
Yeah, but that's what good rappers can do.
Yeah. So you want that, but you don't want to collab. Yeah. You just want to collab. It's 1 hour late, but you want a verse. All right, say no more. Makes sense, doesn't it?
That's one of your side quests. I need that, Geordie.
I'll figure that out. I'm waiting on one more feature. This one could push my advance up about 40 grand.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully
yeah, man.
that person doesn't watch From My Left.
Yeah, no, I hope he or she doesn't.
Smart.
And yeah, man, Jordan not Jordan. Thank you for having me, guys.
No, we don't do that.
Only you get a round of applause.
I wanted to because I thought that 40 grand is a lot of money.
That's fair. That's fair. Next on the panel, he's repping Kuwait's biggest team. And that kit is made by Area, who used to make the kits of which Premier League team?
Wolves.
No.
What?
I mean, they might have done Wolves, but Middlesbrough.
Oh, Middlesbrough. Oh, my mind's gone. I was about to big up the guy that gave me this shot. I have to get his name. I want to say.
Millwall have never been in the Premier League.
No, come on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'll thank us for reminding them.
Speaking of Kuwait, my uncle Lawrence has got a sister,
Your
called
auntie.
Auntie Pat. Her son lives in Kuwait, so I got a cousin that lives in Kuwait right now.
Pat, she black.
Yeah, of course.
Auntie Pat, black.
What? Patrice Everett. Patrice Everett's called Pat.
No, he's not. Patrice. What's her name?
They're called Patrick Vieira, Pat.
Patricia.
There we go.
Stop saying no to people I'm saying are called Pat.
Can't just say no.
It's not a Pat, trust
So
me.
man's linked to Kuwait as well. I got
Patrick
links
Vieira's
out there.
Paddy.
No, it's Paddy if you're white.
Yeah, Paddy if you're white.
It's Pat if you're black.
There can't be a black Paddy. But anyway, this is Kuwait.
That's a good point.
I should have bigged up the guy that gave me this top. I forgot his name now because I'm meeting too many people.
All right, famous man.
No, just, you know what I mean? But thank you very much. And yeah, please send me more. We got to go Kuwait, boys, as well. We need to go Kuwait, Qatar,
I've got family there.
and Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so line up.
You told us that story.
Stay with Auntie Pat.
Yeah, Auntie Pat. I'll stay with
No,
Auntie
Auntie Pat's son,
Auntie Pat's right, sorry.
which is also Troops' cousin.
Oh, God.
Your cousin's Troops' cousin.
Yeah.
See, his stories are like my stories, but way worse.
Your cousin's Troops' cousin.
All right, Troops, confirm this.
Yeah, we share the same cousin.
Yeah, I've known
That is such a Northwest thing.
Let's,
man.
Troops,
Yeah,
confirmed.
I've had that confirmed, yeah.
I don't lie about these stories.
Why would you lie about being related to Troops? Why would you be
They're
like
must be so rubbish.
No, he lies because he's
Yeah, he would say something.
he's got no cousins.
No,
No, we
cousins.
talked about this earlier.
Yeah, we
I
did.
got 3 cousins that
Yeah.
I've seen maybe 5 times in my life.
Which this is the same to you as having no cousins.
Are they in
Yeah.
London?
No.
Where are they?
Where are they? Yeah.
Lichfield, 2 of them.
My auntie lives in Lichfield. My cousins live in Lichfield. This is mad. This is crazy. What part of Lichfield? No, I'm joking.
I don't know Lichfield that well, but my grandma lived there growing up. And
Yeah, in white culture, I don't know whether you know this, Lichfield is a real status symbol. Lichfield's like, if you live in Lichfield, you live in the Midlands, people are like, wow, he's done well.
Oh, yeah.
Lichfield.
It's right behind St George's Park, by the way.
Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
So all the England balls
They fly over,
into the
fly over
gardens.
the fence.
Got you.
And one of my cousins, I have no idea where he is. No idea.
missing.
Could be. I don't know. I still don't know where Ludi is.
T.
Introduce Miles, man.
Ludi.
Legend of the game.
Exactly. Last but not least,
Legendary.
he's a provocateur. He's a man of 1,000 stories. None of them with any punchline. His name's Miles Fearon.
AKA Walter, AKA the best looking guy on YouTube. I love that tag, man. People are very antagonized by that tag, you know.
Yes,
Basically.
yes,
They
yes.
still are.
YouTube's quite an ugly space, though, really. I'm not joking. Like, name me a good-looking YouTuber.
You got no Man City in flipping the French league, bro. You're killing me, man.
It's exactly that.
Yeah, it's true.
You're
Who's the
Celtic.
competition.
Celtic in the Scottish League.
Harry Panera's a good-looking guy.
Is he Miles' competition? No.
Nah.
PK?
Nah.
Not Miles'
Nah.
competition.
I think PK should cut his beard.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation.
But I put you and Tariq on my snap, and it was actually going off. A lot of my moves were like,
Tariq.
no, they were. It was actually like
Like a neck.
40.
Is Tariq on YouTube, though? Like, I feel like Tariq
on
just
there now.
appears
He's
on
coming.
YouTube.
He's coming.
About
He's
to be,
coming.
but
Yeah, he's
you're
about
right. If
to.
you get famous before YouTube, you're never
not
going to
on
be a
YouTube.
YouTuber.
Exactly.
So
You got
it's an
that.
ugly space, man.
It is.
King of the ugly space.
Can I what?
King of the ugly space.
King of the YouTube space.
The ugly space, bro.
Bro, it's not my fault. You guys get better looking then.
That's true.
Yeah, you
I
guys
think
are
you're safe. I think you're safe.
Like Man City, you guys get better. Compete.
This is a real question. This is not the kind of content we do, but this is a real question. Who's the best looking sideman?
Do you know who I'd say though?
But I'm gonna say Josh.
It's very, very, very.
Josh has grown into his
very
head.
symmetrical,
The richest one.
Yeah, he used to have a giant head. You're right. Yeah,
I'd say Victor.
I would not.
That's not true.
No,
Sorry.
he might be last.
Try to grab Southampton into Europe, bro.
No, I just feel like if you get Victor in a suit,
He wears suits.
Vic looks like Vic, if that makes sense, which doesn't make him good looking, but it means he just looks like him.
Yeah.
Specs. That's Specs.
No,
that
you
is Specs.
Yeah.
Do you know who's good looking? Simon.
Simon's attractive, but I call him a 7 out of 10.
What?
He draws the line at
Yeah,
attractive.
Jay, we
I'm not. Simon.
Yeah.
is-
I'm married. I think I'm good. I think
Ethan?
we're all right.
Ethan?
Simon grew into it as well.
Simon
Ethan,
grew into
Ethan
it.
is handsome, I would say.
Ethan's become more and more handsome as he got
yeah.
older, but I don't think he's the best looking in the group.
So the top 4 is Simon, Ethan.
So no one wants to say.
Does
and
JJ
Toby.
get to keep the bandana?
Toby's all right.
Toby's actually deceptive.
Yeah, Toby's all right.
deceptive.
Deceptive.
I'm not having that. No disrespect to Toby, I'm not having that.
He's a little bit
Victor, man.
disrespectful.
I say if
Fixed over Toby.
I say if they was to go out, I'd say Victor. Even though if they
If they
boys,
go,
even
so
if
if you're saying
married
they're going
and all
out, and you think of all the people that get approached the most on the night, women go, I know what I'm in for. Are you
that,
joking?
Victor's the one that can clean up the most.
One of them is on stream right now reacting to this.
Yeah, it's true.
And ranking us.
Yeah, they're ranking us. Yeah.
Look, the most typically handsome is Josh.
Josh Zerka.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, yeah, he's got a good smile.
He does have a good smile.
Yeah. No, he's very symmetrical.
So I can't say he's attractive, but you can say he's got a good smile.
You could say someone's got a good smile
Yeah? Is that no? That's no
across the board.
Oh, wow.
I'm just attractive is a bit for me.
Simon's
Really?
second.
Yeah, okay.
And then Toby.
I think Ethan's more handsome
Right, yeah,
than
but
Toby.
Toby needs to be in the top 4, boys. T, stop arguing. I'm trying to help you out. Toby is third, T.
What about KSI?
He's just a...
JJ
don't-
with the bandanas,
I
actually.
don't- with a bandana.
No.
Nah, he's not. Nah. All right, let's do relegation then. Where's Harry?
Harry
Pinero. Oh, you mean Harry?
Rotor
Oh, I
shot.
forgot about that. He's also gotten better looking with
He's up
age.
there as well.
He has, yeah.
But he's in.
I don't think he's Champions League though.
Nah. Harry's in like Europa.
Mid-table.
His
yeah.
personality, though, ticks him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
That's like me.
But relegation, I
It's
think
KSI and Victor.
JJ and Victor, yeah. It has to be.
It's them two.
It does throw into doubt the whole best looking guy on YouTube thing if you think Victor, who we've put bottom of the league, is the
That's your opinion. I think if I was out with Victor, I think me and Victor could do something.
Well, yeah, but the reason you're doing something is because people look at the pair of you and you look more approachable because you're with Vic.
They're doing nothing. You and Victor in Soho.
You and Victor would go out in Piccadilly Circus is a nightmare.
Bro.
Tiger.
Tiger, what a venue.
You know exactly the one I mean as well.
Yeah.
With the bus stop outside.
yeah.
Do you know whose problem is? Sharky.
Sharky's a real problem for you.
No, Sharky's a good looking guy, but he's not. He doesn't appeal to a lot.
They're making TikToks of Sharky. They're making TikToks
Do you have any
of Sharky.
TikToks where it sort of like does the whole like
Yeah.
you and me sort
Yeah.
of, and it like spins into each other and you're like laughing and
Sharky, come here.
Another problem you have.
I don't have a. That's
I
not a
think
problem.
you have an issue with King Kenny as well.
King Kenny. Having a laugh.
He's got beady eyes. He's cute.
Kenny.
That's cute, man.
Stop calling. All right, stop.
And that doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't mean I wanna.
We're not going to rank Beta Squad in terms of handsomeness.
No, but I think Sharky and King Kenny, I think they're cute.
All right. So who's the worst looking in?
Did you
Beta
just
Squad?
call King
Who's
Kenny?
the worst looking in
You just
Beta
called
Squad?
King
Yeah.
Kenny
well,
cute.
we all know.
We all know. It's the triangle.
Wow.
It's got to be.
But he's also grown into his fate.
AJ Shabil is better looking now. Yeah. He looks after himself as well. He's got good hair. Yeah.
The problem is all these guys got money now. Money can cover up.
Chunks has got the best smile though. Chunks has got $1 million smile.
All right, see the smile thing you're doing, yeah? That is getting closer to.
No,
You can't be watching a man smile.
no, he's got a good smile though.
Have I got a good smile?
No.
Smile? Smile? That is quite a nice smile though.
What's that?
His eyes are very kind.
It looks like he's got gas.
You don't have a good smile, man. But you got a very unique look. And I told you, when you get a fade, that's when you can step out together. When you don't have a fade,
That's fair enough.
You look like you were animated in Rick and Morty.
What's
Yeah, facts. You look like a Rick and Morty character. That's a very good shout.
it's a great cartoon.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Very good cartoon.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like an adult cartoon.
You wouldn't like it.
Is it? What does Tigo look like?
Cobhead.
We're talking cartoons, yeah. What's? There's always a big guy. I don't know if it's. What are you laughing?
Are you talking about like Recess?
Is that beep beep? That one.
What?
Oh, you mean Roadrunner?
Roadrunner.
Is there a big guy in there?
No, it's just Roadrunner.
Coyote.
Porky Pig.
Where was the one the big guy that is wearing braces?
Yeah, that's Edit. What's his name?
Not Ed and Eddie.
No.
Not Cow and Chicken.
Not Cow and Chicken, no. I can't remember his
Come
name.
on, bro. Asterix. Big guy. Not Asterix.
Oh, now we're doing Asterix.
Oh, you mean Obelix?
Asterix and Obelix. Yeah, Obelix.
yeah.
Okay.
You look a little bit more like you could have been in Recess.
Yeah, that works.
Oh,
Or
the
Hey
big
Arnold.
guy in Recess.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm the guy with the square glasses in Recess.
Yeah. well, yeah.
He was terrible, by the way.
What do you mean? Bad
Oh,
character?
no, he was all right, actually. He was good.
Yeah.
He was good. He was a good guy.
If you put on
he
Specs'
was-
glasses.
He was just giving people information.
Oh, Gus.
Gus.
Chucky.
What from Rugrats?
Rugrats.
Yeah, if you put on Specs' glasses,
Have you heard the theory about Rugrats?
they're grown-ups.
I heard that the theory was that they were all dead.
Yeah.
And that they'd all been
Only
offed.
Angelica.
Only Angelica is real, and they're all imaginary kids that she, dreamt up.
What? What am I watching?
I didn't come up with a theory, but please do chase it. Yeah.
So what's
yeah.
the parents doing then? Because they're picking up kids and talking to them.
No, but apparently the parents, the way they interact with them is always in like a weird sort of passive way, or there's like this weird
They'll talk
side
around
world.
them
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
What was the one where only one person could talk to the dog or the baby or something? Or the baby talks.
Family Guy.
That's Family Guy.
So no one understands the baby.
That's
other than-
Stewie. You're talking about Stewie.
Stewie.
But the mum doesn't understand him. The mum can't hear
Right,
him.
yeah. So
That's why he always says, "Put me down, woman."
You clock that. Yeah, you clock that, yeah?
25 years into that show being on air.
Do you know what I think is not on, which really would bang now? Bernard's Watch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bernard's Watch
That
would
was
just
my
be
bad.
Kids don't know that is what they really want.
You
is
look like a
Bernard's
King of the
Watch.
Hill guy.
a little bit. A little bit.
The black guy in King of the Hill, the way he talks, amazing, bro.
There's no black guy.
It was on too late for me as a kid.
You're talking about Boomhauer. He's not black.
He's not black.
What is he?
Just a text.
Are you a King of the Hill guy?
I liked King of the Hill.
Yeah, you see that.
Great show.
Because you're
Great
smart.
It was just a late show. You should just watch used to come on.
Has anyone? No one I know has watched Atlanta. I never know it.
Oh, I love Atlanta.
Finally, someone who's actually
I've
smart.
watched-
Yeah, but you
That's a
don't.
black show.
I watch every episode. So what's wrong with that?
I'm just surprised he said that.
That's a black show.
Are you gatekeeping our shows?
No,
We
of
wanna
course.
broaden it.
No, of course. That's the whole point. Like,
Is it?
yeah, to broaden your horizons to get to a different audience.
It's my
But I just-
favorite show of all time.
Is it?
I think it's
Fantastic
amazing.
show.
I think it's a great show.
But we're actually not here to talk about cartoon characters and who everyone looks like. And
But
who
on
the
another day,
most
we should.
handsome people on YouTube are. Yeah, if there's any other YouTube groups out there that you want to leave in the
my brain.
comments, yeah. And
Because the American ones are actually not good-looking guys. Drewski's not a good-looking guy, is he? Drewski's not good. Kai Cenat's actually a funky-looking guy.
I don't think Kai Cenat's ugly though.
No, but I don't think he's that. But I'm saying funky.
Yeah, for Kai Cenat's funky
Speed.
looking.
No.
Speed.
Speed's
Not
not
good-looking.
No,
Jason.
Jason.
Who's Jason?
Face.
streamer.
Yeah, the one from inside.
Oh, he was inside.
Oh, I like Jason. He's a cool kid.
Right.
Yeah, but you're right though. In terms of like handsomeness, I think Drewski might secretly be like quite handsome.
Didn't
What?
you get someone pregnant?
Yeah, must be.
Did
Is
you
it?
do
Again?
what?
So I can't remember now.
I don't think Drewski's. He has to. Yeah, he has to like do stuff to himself.
I don't think he can go out with you.
Blonde hair, tattoos.
But that's why the Americans always win, because all of the people you're talking about, they all have very expensive
No, but Kai
hair
Cenat
or
is-
accessories.
I actually look at his face and think, you know what? You're
Should I,
handsome.
Jordy?
Should I what?
Should you
What?
what? Should you what, bro?
You can't say that after what I just said, because now it sounds like you wanna.
No.
Should you what, mate?
Get into modeling. Like,
What?
You could do modelling.
Where did that come from?
I'm just thinking about it.
How old do you think he is?
29.
Correct.
Well, don't model.
It's more money. It's extra money. It's extra money though.
You're a milf.
You're a MILF.
Are you tall enough to model?
5'11", but I wouldn't
no.
be tall enough
No.
for highway. No, but that's highway modeling,
Right. Highway.
not highway.
Runway.
Runway.
Highway modeling.
I'm a highway model.
Just walking down the street wearing clothes.
You could be one of those. Yeah, you ain't gonna walk.
Who, me?
You ain't gonna walk.
Nah, I wouldn't do highway. You have to.
runway.
strap.
Stop saying highway.
No, do the highway. Let him do the highway. Let him do the highway.
I think you would do. Someone's going to march you out at like a Balenciaga show or something in like 2 years' time.
Well, we're not here to talk about any of that. We've got.
Speaking of modelling,
oh
you
my
modelled
god!
for,
yes, I modeled for Lylan Scott. That's true.
That's
Did
good
you?
one,
That's
man.
true. Yeah.
But the picture had to be black and white too.
There's a
He
colour
actually
one.
looked all right,
There was
though.
a colour one.
Why didn't you post it?
I did. It was the second picture in the reel.
Oh, thank God I didn't slide. You know what? Sometimes when people do the 15, 14 pages, just after page 2, call it a day.
Call
man.
it a day.
Call it a day. What's this?
Should it be no more than 6 slides? 6 slides. I like Jordy.
I agree.
1, 2, 3,
agree.
4, 5, 6.
15 slides too much.
Yeah, way too much. Anything after 6.
What's the most slides
tap
you've
out.
done?
6, if that.
Even for like a month dump or whatever that
No,
is.
6 slides.
I don't agree with month dumps.
So let's go, team. Man.
We're not actually here to talk about Miles' Instagram, ranking YouTubers. Yeah, you do that. Or King of the Hill or Atlanta or anything. We're actually here today to talk about Liverpool.
Exclusively.
Almost exclusively.
It feels like a hit piece.
It's a little bit of a hit piece.
Right.
Because Liverpool are about to win the league and jump straight into transition, in my opinion.
That's a bit of a howler, right?
No, because that's how you should do it. Just rinse it out, get to the end of the cycle, start again.
But when City done it, everyone moaned.
They haven't done it.
When City won the league, right?
Yeah.
They had to go through a transition, right?
When?
This season.
No.
But yeah, you could.
And they did it in January.
I don't
but-
think
but
they thought they were going to
Yeah,
go through that.
Liverpool
Okay.
are projecting it. They're like, we got a new
Right.
manager. We're losing one of our best players now, allegedly. 3 of our best players also allegedly, and a load of your players weren't actually good enough and were being
Right,
carried
let me ask
by a
you a
lot of
question.
those guys.
Can you replace those players? That's the question.
Which ones?
Is Van Dijk going?
Yeah.
Do you think Van Dijk
Allegedly.
goes?
I think so. I
think he
if
stays.
if these players have not signed a contract past January, the idea that you're going to convince them, unless you're just going to give them Trent's leftover money, it seems unrealistic.
What do you think? Sorry, do you think you're keeping the other 2?
I think that's ideal, but I'm skeptical as to whether they keep both of the other two. I think Trent's gone. For me, Trent's out the door. And he's been out the door for a while. Just because why would he entertain it for so long if he wasn't? I think he's been telling people since before the start of the season, I'm going to Real Madrid at the end of the season.
I would worry that a fresh start for Trent attracts the other 2.
I just don't know if footballers see it that way. I don't know if Van Dijk looks at Trent and goes, "Oh, could I get in on that?" Like,
He's too old for that as well.
I
no?
think Van Dijk probably knows what sets his legacy. I think Van Dijk knows his legacy is probably set in football if he stays at Liverpool. I think
likes
that's the
his
biggest
life.
legacy setter.
But, and he's young, he's still performing at an incredible level. The offer from USA, Saudi, that's going to set his family for generations.
Yeah.
You keep throwing people to USA and Saudi, but do you not think there's one more Europe move?
I think there is.
For Virgil van Dijk, he's definitely good enough.
2
But
years. 2 years.
But apparently the PSG link wasn't true.
Okay.
They're not speaking to him. They're not interested. They don't want to go that route again.
They have to say that though.
Yeah, I read that from someone, Julien.
You mean Laurence?
Julien Laurent from ESPN.
Yeah.
And he was just like, look, there's no truth to it.
He's very close with PSG though, and he's not a mouthpiece, but he is a little bit like.
I would like him there because I like PSG for the first time in like 5 years. Right
I still see them coming back in summer for Van Dijk.
I just think
I don't think
if it's not Liverpool, I don't understand why he would move to another European team.
Well, maybe just for like if you're going to go to another European side, it's got to be to win a Champions League.
Yeah.
Because winning Ligue 1 doesn't really mean that. I mean, it'll mean something, but
I think he could go to a team like Bayern Munich.
I think he could. Yeah,
What if he's moving to get more years out of his body?
I think he'll get the most years out of his body if he stays in the league.
You think so?
He can't go Germany. He can't go Germany, T. It's just not competitive enough.
We haven't said Germany once though, but
You said
Bayern maybe.
Bayern,
Yeah. Oh
Why?
sorry. Oh sorry. Yeah.
Why?
Maybe Bayern.
Why would you go Bayern though?
Juve won't play the style of football he needs.
Juve,
So if he doesn't go to the Premier League, if he
if
doesn't
he
stay in the
leaves,
Premier League,
for me, if he leaves, he has to go Saudi or
no,
America for the money
no,
and
because he's
the
too-
lifestyle.
No, we said that about Mo Salah 2 years ago, a year ago. He should go.
So
to
you think
Saudi.
Salah's gonna go Europe?
He could stay if he wants to. He's that good to stay, but I don't think Saudi. I don't think he goes to Saudi.
I think it's a nightmare for Liverpool if he leaves this summer as well, because you're losing club captain, club vice captain. You've then got to replacing a centre back's a nightmare whether they're important at the team anyway. Do you know what I mean? And then they're going to have to go in the market, and essentially you'll overpay for anyone.
I think VVD stays. I think he's the one who stays out.
Someone
of
has to stay.
I don't think I can lose a goalkeeper and my best centre back.
I think we're about to lose a keeper as well.
Well, Alisson.
Alisson's going where?
Yeah.
So I reckon Mamadashvili comes in.
Yeah.
Well, Kelleher's coming anyway.
You know what? Alisson is someone that you can replace, though. To be fair, because Kelleher did show
I
good
get
spells.
that. There were just moments where I think if you're watching the full 90, you're feeling that Alisson, you know why he's then important. And you know, like feeling inside Anfield is very different when we were playing PSG and Alisson's in goal than if Kelleher's in goal. And I think we trust him so much now. He's basically Liverpool's best goalkeeper of at least the modern era.
He showed his worth at PSG too, across them both legs.
Again, I think he showed his worth even in the Premier League this season, to be honest.
I feel like he's done his job. I think he's more easier to replace than any other position.
I also think 'cause our style-
If he leaves, I don't think Liverpool fans get upset.
No.
I think we just say thank you for your service. This has been great. But he's not forcing a move. And that's the difference between him and Trent. That's why it's seen differently. Is I think he's seen as like, you've done your time, you've always been very respectful. When your father died, you came back pretty quick and played, all those kind of things. That's different. So he's seen as dedicated to the cause. But the real Liverpool problem with him is the injuries. Like, and Slot said it himself, availability is one of his big factors for players.
I love Slot, man. I love the way he looks.
Yeah, there we
like a
go.
cartoon.
Just say the way he looks.
Huh? No, he's class. He's class. He's better than Arteta. Already. I don't care what anyone tells me.
With the Mamadishvili signing
I don't care what anyone tells me. He's better than Arteta. Just shut up. Sorry.
all right.
Sorry, T. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No
it's-
comeback.
it's cool,
Yeah,
it's
no
whatever.
jab. You're on the ropes.
No, it's-
You
no,
can't
no,
get out
I
of the
slipped
corner.
it, I slipped
Yeah, you
it.
can't.
I
You're
am.
still in the corner.
I've slipped it. I've slipped it.
Break up. Go back into your corners.
That's not a great take.
I won that round.
Back into your
That's not a great
corners.
take. That's not a great take.
Who do you think could win more Premier League titles, Arteta or Slot?
Well, Slot's got one over him already. So
Well, I think we're talking about that a little prematurely, but I will cover that another
you've
time.
got that.
maybe.
If you're
Oh, no,
if
we'll
you're scared
cover that
now to
today.
talk about that, then
I'm not scared about it. No, I'm not scared. I just didn't want to get. We can get into it now if you want. I think Liverpool are going to drop points between now and the
You
end
are
of the
getting
season.
smoked. I went in my corner and my coach is coming and cornered you as well.
He's sidestepping
You are
about.
getting smoked.
I said he's going to win one. He's saying yeah, we don't think you're going to win one. Basically,
That's not sidestepping. That's just me being realistic, isn't it?
So you don't think you're going to win the Premier League?
It's not bad. It's not that I don't think we're going to win the Premier League. It's that I don't think it's as nailed on as everyone is saying.
But you're 9 points ahead.
You've looked at the fixture list.
I've looked at the fixture list, but I also think Arsenal's fixture list is very kind.
So is yours.
You're talking about our fixture list, but
He brought up the fixture list.
yeah, but you think it's very kind our fixture list, but you got.
When I say kind, I don't mean that's been engineered by someone at the top.
Oh, of
I
course
just
not. No,
mean-
I'm just saying, even regardless, even if your fixture list is not kind, you should still be winning the Premier League.
I think Liverpool should be winning the Premier League, but I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think it could finish 6 or 3 points by the end of the season.
Having a laugh.
You've still got to come to Anfield. I think Arsenal will get a point at Anfield.
Marino up front.
I don't think you'll have. I think you'll have Marino. You'll probably have Saka
Saka's
off him
back
at the
this
end. They'll be.
It helps that you're in one competition now, though.
Oh, it definitely does. But I also think there's massive potential in if you do something against Madrid, you've got momentum with you.
And they're a bit
But
rattled.
you still have to do your business, though. Yeah, obviously, I think if Arsenal. No, you still have to do your business regardless if we beat Madrid or not. That has nothing to do with Liverpool Football Club.
There's contracts still to be decided.
Contracts?
There's
Come on.
Tell me now, right? If you're Darwin
Contracts
Nunez
are for
and
players.
you've spent the whole international break reading that you're off at the end of the season, all these kind of things, I don't think Darwin scores more than 2 goals for the rest of the season.
He wasn't going to do that anyway.
But that's my point.
He's
is
Marino. He's Marino. He is.
Jota's crocked. We've got a bit of an attacking problem at the moment, almost similar to yours.
But pardon?
What do you mean?
What do you mean similar to ours?
They ain't got a striker.
Allow it, man.
They do have the
Who's their
best,
striker?
the best goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
I said striker. Who's the
Just saying
striker?
they got the best goal scorer in
Do
the
you need a
league.
striker? Do you need a
We need a striker.
There you go.
Yeah, but they've had their
White on white crime.
their attacking options have been more than ours this season. White on white. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. I don't want to talk about Liverpool's attack because they've had their attack the whole season.
No, I'm saying they ain't got a striker.
Have we?
Majority of the season, yes. Who's the only person that's been out is arguably Jota.
Or Jota Nunez.
Gakpo died.
Gakpo.
Gakpo died.
Gakpo had a good moment. though.
Gakpo, yeah,
That's
Gakpo's been
a good
here.
moment.
Exactly, and then he died.
Yeah, but but when they needed Gakpo, he found them
They
points.
need him now.
No, they need Salah now to just do the rest.
They needed Salah against PSG. They needed Salah against Newcastle.
Yeah, but that's 2 cup competition. We're
Sorry,
talking
just
about
to
the
ask,
Premier League.
is Gakpo better than Martinelli, by the way?
He's had a better season than him.
No, is he? Who's better to you?
I would pick Gakpo over Martinelli right now.
I don't like it, but probably, yeah.
Okay.
I think they're equivalent.
Yeah.
That's what I asked. That's what I
Why does
asked.
everyone do this Martinelli stuff? I don't understand. You know how much? Have you seen? No, I'm just saying. But have you seen Martinelli's numbers? And it's not even that great compared to all the rest of the left wingers in this league. Because all the left wingers in this league right now, their numbers is terrible.
So you're saying Martinelli's
So
better?
that's why we're comparing, because you're the best team in the
Yeah,
league.
but Gakpo has had a better season than Martinelli this season. I don't think he's a better player.
Okay.
Because before that, I think Liverpool fans didn't even want Gakpo in their team.
No, but you didn't want Martinelli in your team. So that's why he's
no,
doing that.
Martinelli's always been wanted in the Arsenal
They're in the
team.
same
No, he hasn't.
situation.
No, he hasn't.
They're in the same situation, bro.
Oh, stop that. Because it's Diaz that's been Liverpool's left winger. More
We're
than
very
Gakpo.
unsure about Diaz, though.
Now you are.
Why?
Now I think Liverpool fans have always been unsure.
That's a bit sport, though. No?
Oh, you want to talk about spot? Let's talk about Liverpool transition. Darwin Nunez out.
Gone.
Luis Diaz,
Gone.
Mo Salah.
Potential.
What is Liverpool next season?
Isak.
New manager. Why would Isak choose a transition team?
They're not going to be, but he would think if he went there, they wouldn't be a transition team. Liverpool's midfield will remain broadly the same.
But Isak probably looks at Liverpool and says, if I had Trent playing those balls over the top, my close control, aerially and on the ground, that's the magic. Is it Conor Bradley?
On top of what you said, do you need a new left back?
Yeah, but Liverpool left back's almost least of Liverpool's worry. I think they will get a new left back this summer.
No, but that's what my point is. There's a lot to get this summer.
I agree. I think there's a massive turnover.
We're both in the same position when it comes to transition.
No,
Because I think Arsenal's going into a transition as well,
No,
to
you're
some
not.
degree next year as well.
No, you're not.
Not maybe not quite on the same scale as
Yeah,
Liverpool.
but we need just as much.
You
Just
got
as much.
both your centre backs locked down.
What do you need?
We need at least Arsenal need at least 6 or 7 players next season.
What?
You don't.
How have you done this? We're doing a Liverpool show. How have you done this?
Goalkeeper, both centre backs, right back.
I'm not angry. I don't understand. I just said one thing. It's an opinion.
You're chatting rubbish.
I'm not. But take the emotion out of it. That's what.
No,
I'm just
the emotion is over here.
And you know everyone you're
Do I
buying.
sound emotional?
Okay, sorry. Of the 6 and 7, are they all into your starting 11?
at least 4 is in our starting 11. I'm not just saying anything.
So in your mind, you're replacing Odegaard?
I said 4, around 4.
You said 6, but
I said
okay,
we need
let's
at
do
least 6
4. Let's
players.
do
I never
4.
said first. He said first 11. I
Okay,
said
let's
6
do 4.
players. Then
Let's
he
do
said
4.
first
Do
11.
4.
Okay, so
That's
you
all
need
I
a
said.
backup on your left wing.
No, I said we need at least 6 players.
Bro, do the 4 then. What positions need first team replacements?
Or striker.
Thank you. No, I didn't run. I'm still here.
I'm talking to Geordie, man.
I'm still here. I'm not
Stop
running
getting
anywhere.
distracted, man. Do
still
the
here.
4.
You need a left winger?
What, so Trossard and Martinelli aren't.
No, obviously no. I think Martinelli should be our second choice, and we can
And
get someone
Trossard
who can
just-
push him. Yeah, Trossard can go.
Really?
He's like 32, 31.
Saudi came for him, no?
Yeah, if we get offered 20 million for Trossard or 25 million or 22 million, whatever it may be, we take
Those
it.
are 3 very specific bits.
That's the price.
That's the way it will go.
Yeah, you got a bargain.
Alright,
So
keep going.
left wing,
Yeah.
striker.
Definitely.
We're gonna need another DM or 8 or a 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
No, 2 midfielders.
Surely Marino kicks back.
They're gonna
though.
do 2
Yeah,
midfielders.
Marino's
Marino's
going to
come back.
What about? But we got Rice. So why do we need 2 now? Why do we need what?
Because Partey and Jorginho's going.
Do you know the mad thing? I don't think Harvey Elliott is that bad of a signing for Arsenal. This
No,
summer.
yeah, definitely not. No.
He's offering you players here. Do you want Harvey
Harvey
Elliott?
players. Harvey Elliott's on the table. Do you
No,
think
he's levels.
He's not levels enough for us against to get us. in
Harvey
the
Elliott's
league.
not levels now.
Not to win us the league. No. Does he start in your 11?
No, but that's because of the way we structure our midfield.
Well, the way we structure our midfield is not with Harvey Elliott.
He'd be great as that free man. Yeah, that advanced midfielder.
Nah,
Would be fantastic.
we can buy a better player. We can get a better player than Harvey Elliott.
Who?
I'm not saying he wouldn't be in good for rotation within the squad. Yes, he's a great player.
He wouldn't sign for you for that reason.
Yeah, bad. He's our negotiator.
All right,
by the
cool,
way.
But hear what I'm saying to you.
Fine.
But hear what I'm saying to you. You was talking about obviously
And
Rice.
potentially a left back.
Yo, hello.
So that's 4. You can shake your head.
You bought 7 left backs in the last 7 years, bro.
But Calafiori.
What are they doing?
And Miles Lewis-Skelly.
And Mars Lewis Skelly.
No, but I'm saying Calafiori wasn't bought as he's not going to be our left back. He's going to be our left centre back.
He'd be left centre back.
Yeah, he's eventually, 100%.
But not next season.
Well, there's talks about us that we might even sell Gabriel this season. There's talks about that.
To Real Madrid.
Saudi might even take him.
Again. What? Again.
Why are Saudi ruining careers? What's
But it's a fact. Bruv, I support this football club. I'm telling you lot what's the talks.
Let me just say this. I hear you, but I don't hear you because if Salah, if Liverpool lose Salah, Van Dijk, obviously Trent's going, they're players that are starting. So
Of course, it's a bigger impact.
players that need to come in have to replace that
Straight away.
You're talking about like Virginia and all them kind of guys, like bro. Like, what
No, but we still need to replace players because there's a lot of players.
that's
It's
not
like-
really a transition.
Do you know what though? I think you're making a good point in the sense that, when going into next season, say Liverpool did win the title this season, it would take a bit of the pressure off next season. So people would sort of go, right, let's just be patient.
For who?
For Liverpool.
Okay.
Because they basically go, well, we've got another title in the bag. That's all right. Slot's 1-1, so we can chill on that. Put a little Champions League run together. We don't have to finish top again. We've already done that.
Lawrence, that's not how it works with Liverpool fans.
No, well, it depends on which
That's not how it
Liverpool
works.
fans you ask. Some Liverpool fans...
if Liverpool don't win this season next season, It's not gonna be crazy on them.
It'll be
It wouldn't because they wasn't expected to win it this season anyway.
I'm saying by December, if players come in and they're not doing anything and Liverpool, let's say mid-table, their fans will be tweeting. They'll be tweeting.
Mid-table's
It's
very
possible.
different to where they're at, though.
It's possible.
But the pressure on Arsenal,
It's possible.
if Arsenal don't win the Premier League or
even
challenge for it
compete.
next year,
Yeah, it's crazy.
is immense.
Of
by
course.
that point.
It's
It becomes fever pitch.
Of course, they're done. But this is about you. This is about you, Lawrence. Next year, if you lose Salah,
Yeah.
and lose Van Dijk, or
and Trent
you're in trouble.
and Alisson.
They're
You're
bigger
in
shoes.
trouble.
They're bigger shoes to fill.
Unless you bring in
Of course.
Kudus or even go and take Saka.
Kudus is going to go Saudi, isn't he? I think.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think the problem for a lot of people is we're never going to analyze any player in the world like Michael Edwards and the rest of those guys at Liverpool will. So we could sit here and go, Isak will be great, and this big player will be great, and that big player will be great. But eventually we'll end up signing one guy for 40 mil, one guy for 60.
Though. The signing's a statement.
I just don't think that Michael Edwards thinks about statements in that way.
So are you saying okay? But would you take Isak?
Of course,
Okay,
but that's
cool.
not. But that's not me. The reason I'm not there is because I'm not Michael Edwards. I'm not these guys who go, "What's the numbers there?" then?"
Yeah,
Does it
you
work
look at that window where they signed Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai. Liverpool weren't at their best. Now you look at them this year and you go, "What a window! What a win!" It's not Isak. None of
Endo
them
as
are
well.
Isak.
Endo came in that
Yeah,
summer.
in that same summer. Yeah,
That was a crazy summer for us. That completely rebuilt the midfield. And Curtis Jones already there.
Gravenberch is the one that surprised everyone.
Curtis Jones should be at Arsenal as well.
As a rotation, as a rotation player.
I think he
Doesn't
can
start for Arsenal.
Jones can start at 8.
He could
For
start
a
in there.
game. He doesn't do a run. Doesn't.
he gets hurt a lot, but he is good enough.
He's
He is
good enough to start.
He could play for
100%.
us.
Yeah,
Arsenal.
obviously he's good enough to play and start. But he's not in our starting
I think
11. no.
there was a link, you know.
Really?
There was a Curtis Jones and Arsenal link this time last year.
That's probably a link to every player.
No, there was a strong link. Arteta likes this guy. I'm sure.
Which team doesn't Curtis Jones get to
he's a good
into
player.
the
I'm just
Premier League?
saying he doesn't start for
Great
Arsenal.
question.
If he's coached by Pep, I think Pep has a little thing for him, a bit Phil Foden-y.
No, he can't play for Pep.
Why not?
No, he can. Yeah, he's very efficient.
I get what you mean. There might be like a technical difference between the two of them.
Yeah, it's too technical, like demanding him. He's good though.
I think he's very
Can't get in
technical. I
Newcastle.
think if anything, he needs that.
Yeah, a little bit less.
Can't get
chaos.
into Newcastle. Can't get in Arsenal.
Can't
doesn't
get into Newcastle.
Nah.
No, it's just the way Newcastle play.
Nah, Tonali.
Only Bruno Joelinton.
Yeah, that's too strong. That's probably the best trio in the league.
Is very good. Bro.
That's top 3 trios, and that's the top 3 midfielders in the league.
Newcastle lose games on sometimes when the fact that they don't have the control. I
Yeah,
think Curtis Jones gives you
Joelinton
more
is
control.
there because they've not been able to spend money replacing him. Let's be honest, boys.
Oh, cool. Because I saw him play for Brazil the other day.
Horrible. The whole team was horrible, though. To be
You
fair,
can't take Joelinton out of Newcastle, put him midfield somewhere else.
You can take the boy out of Newcastle.
Can't take them.
Have you identified any of the replacements in the Prem then? So for the
So Huijsen is Bournemouth centre back. Kirkes.
okay.
Kirkes is a nice little.
So you're just ripping Bournemouth. Bournemouth for your new Southampton then.
What about Guehi? Would you take? Like, what do you think of him?
I think he'd go somewhere else. I think that's the problem.
Chelsea, he's going
He doesn't
Chelsea.
profile for Liverpool in a great way. We need someone who's the Van Dijk side.
He almost went Newcastle actually.
Yeah, he did.
but Tigo thinks that he is going to go to Liverpool, and he thinks
No, I've been told that's what Liverpool want. That's what he wants. That's what I've been told.
I wouldn't be upset with that. I just don't. I think it feels a little bit underwhelming for Liverpool fans to move Van Dijk on and then have Guehi come into.
Do you know what the problem with that
role.
though is like you Dean Howson is
Huijsen.
Huijsen is it? Yeah.
It's like the sauce.
Bringing him in, you're bringing in a 19-year-old centre back to replace the most dominant,
But seemingly
experienced
one
centre
who is
back.
very.
Of course,
And
but
also, you wouldn't just go, that's been great, Van Dijk. You go, well.
But for how long does that?
hopefully, Yeah,
Because he's
That's why
21.
That needs to stay so he can tutor him.
but Mark Guehi comes in as they've got one of the best defensive records
But
at
then
Crystal
that would
Palace.
mean we'd have to sell someone like Konate that summer because you're not going to have 3 centre backs at that club who are going to
All starters
sit
like
for
that.
each other. It's
Yeah.
not going to work like that. Which is why Huijsen is someone like that. You, as Liverpool, you go to him and you go, you might not start for the whole of the season.
He can't play with Konate.
No, it's not that I don't think he can't play. It's that I think Van Dijk wouldn't go, I'll accept. You can't bench your club captain for whoever coming through.
Guehi and Konate
They're different players. They can work.
That'd be great.
That don't
I think
work.
Why
that'd be
does it
great.
work?
That don't work.
You're being
There's not an
racist.
A side.
Yeah, exactly. That's 2 B side.
There
That's
is an
two.
A side.
That's
I
2
think
B
Guehi's-
side
Guehi's
defenders.
the
Yeah, but
A-side.
yeah, but the A side that he's replacing, like he said, is
That's going
astronomical.
to be for everyone.
Yeah, it's
though.
big shoes to
That's
fill.
be for
That's gonna
everyone.
be-
That's
Yeah, but
literally-
that's what it's not
Literally,
gonna
what
happen,
centre
though.
back in the world apart from William
Exactly.
Saliba and maybe Ruben Diaz could actually come close
Exactly.
to replicating Virgil van Dijk's command of.
But like he said, if Guehi comes in, he has to be next to Van Dijk. So, like you said, gets tutored.
No,
he gets tutored for a year or two.
He can be the A. He can be the
No,
A.
the only way
But
that
not
works
as good as Van Dijk.
if it's Huijsen, that's where it works. Huijsen teaching.
Huijsen's
Van
not
Dijk.
better than Guehi.
No, but he's 19.
And he's got a very high ceiling, as far as a lot of people say.
I would go, if I was you, I'd go for experience. I think Huijsen's going to crumble under pressure.
Being Premier League proven is a big thing for Liverpool, by the way. I think, especially their stats department, really look at what can we get for good value that has proven at that level they can come in and just do that. So maybe there is more weight in the Guehi thing, because it's like we know he can play in this league. We know if we do 60 mil, we'll at least get 5 years out of him, or however many
most of your
years.
signings have come from the Prem. You're right.
And resale value's there.
Resale
And
value.
He's, like I say, Crystal Palace's defensive record is crazy. And he's
very
had
good.
to play with a lot of different centre-backs in that
Good
system.
defender.
Over the course of like 3 years in different systems. 3 at the back, 4 at the back. Guehi is still there's something about him that still makes people not think he's like a sexy pick. He is that. He is like...
Yeah, people. Yeah, you're right. People are not storing him. People are
No.
not giving him the condoms he deserves.
Because Van Dijk, though,
Yeah, what is it? When you compare... But then, so when you
It's
look
also,
at Huijsen...
it's also
you-
Palace.
It's Palace, but you look at Huijsen, you see upside. And that's really what you're focusing on, is
Eze
upside.
gets it. Eze gets that.
Yeah, because he's attacking.
But you know, it's because
attackers always get that upset.
And Man City wanted Eze, and it was Newcastle that wanted Guehi, and it's just different, isn't it?
Can Eze play for Man City? Yeah.
Pep thinks so.
I don't
But
like
Pep
what
thought
Pep
that about
does.
Phillips.
Yeah, I don't like what Pep does. I don't
Phillips
like
got
what,
But
destroyed.
not great. Eze can start over. He could start in Man City.
I'd love Eze at City.
I don't think any winger should sign for Pep again.
Well,
Loz, would you take Chris Wood at Liverpool?
Would I take
Chris Wood.
what as a?
As a coach,
I thought that was what you said, but I genuinely thought there's no way. That
it's
must
cool.
be.
No, it's cool, man. It's cool. I saw what you done. It's cool.
as a coach or like okay.
mate.
You'll take the lap though.
I'm what as a next season that would be the guy that we bank on.
well, you bank on Nunez right now.
I don't.
And you're winning
no
the league.
one's banking on Nunez.
No,
at
but
Liverpool.
the club are, and you win the league with him.
So the reason that we've still got Nunez is just because we couldn't shift him last summer.
Of course, he still plays though.
How much you buying for?
Not as much. 70.
Okay, that's not bad.
You
You
know
wanted him.
what? I just realised you was picking the bones out of Bournemouth. What about Forest?
Forest though, they feel like if they get Champions League, they'll go. We'll hang on to all our guys. they
Murillo
will.
at Liverpool would be class.
Murillo at Liverpool beat that was a big one for us, but he signed that new contract.
What is your dream? What is your dream shopping list then?
Isak.
Yeah,
Just because I think that's like a great statement.
of course.
Because everyone else, like Arsenal, want him. Pretty much everyone wants Isak, right? And then Real Madrid can have him in like 3 years because you know that's going to happen. So
Elanga?
I love you.
So I love
I reckon you need another left winger. Then I'm not quite sure who that left winger is.
Sane?
You go get Gordon.
Gordon won't leave this summer. There's no way they can't leave. They can't let Isak and Gordon go.
No, sorry, no. I think you're more likely to get Gordon than Isak. More than anything.
So where do you think Isak ends up?
What do you want to say?
I think he stays.
You can't have Isak and Gordon, you said?
In one summer.
Sign them both.
You can't
Oh,
sign
in
them
one summer,
both
yeah,
in
he's
one
right, yeah,
summer.
he's
no.
right, he's right, he's right.
But I think you could get Gordon more than you can get Isak,
What makes you? What gives you that confidence?
because I don't think Isak's going to leave Newcastle.
Yeah, if one of them is gonna leave, it's Isak.
I think Liverpool could get Gordon because he wants that move, and I think he's more feasible.
He's saying that because he wants Isak.
No, I don't think Arsenal's getting Isak. That's the whole point.
You're getting
I don't think
Sesko.
Arsenal's getting Isak.
You do?
I think we more than likely will get Sesko because there's more of a ceiling for Arsenal. Like you said, they look at the stats and the numbers. It's more longevity.
I'd be interested to see if say Isak wasn't available. It does feel. I think the problem is we're billing ourselves for a big summer, and actually we're not going to get that summer.
Laurence, don't forget you got Chiesa as well.
That's a loan.
There's potential. I mean, if he's fit,
Which he never is. But
there's
if
a
he was,
potential that he can be a problem.
I think Liverpool does get Gordon though.
eventually,
He's not. Gordon's not linked to. Look, bro, Gordon's not moving this summer.
he's not going
It
anywhere.
was linked last summer though.
You're doing that. This is ISS things.
It's not the ISS
Bro,
thing.
Gordon's not leaving.
It's just bro. They could just get Gordon just as much as they can get Isak. It's the same thing. Isak's the most sorted player in the world right now, but they can't get Gordon. How? How does that make sense?
I would have loved Marmoush, but I never.
That's a
quite
Liverpool
got,
player.
I never quite got why the City move got rushed, or it just suddenly happened.
because they were
he's-
scared if someone else like you
He
could
was
take
linked
him.
to us for ages, and then it didn't happen.
Would you take Grealish?
on the left?
Yeah.
I just think his injury record is too.
But you would take a fit Grealish, yeah?
I don't think there's many Premier League teams who, if you said, would you put Grealish in your squad, they would say no.
I'll take him.
I quite like him in that Liverpool system
But
as
the
well.
problem being, right, you have to look at where they'll pay his wages and he drops down the table pretty quick to like Fulham.
Yeah.
There's a high likelihood that it's like Fulham or Chicago Fire.
Can you go back to Villa? I feel like there's a.
They're at their wage cap. They're at their capacity financially.
Lawrence, I've got a player for you.
I'd love to hear it now.
Alex Iwobi.
I don't mind that. I don't think that's a terrible signing, but I just can't see him starting for Liverpool.
You win the league and sign Iwobi, I'm on to you.
But again, it's
Not as a premier signing.
Forget
for
the
summer.
paperwork. Forget the paperwork. Because Nunez was the paperwork. Everyone wanted Nunez, and now look at him. Sometimes you have to go for these shockers. It's the shockers that will get you through.
A good player for a good player for you on the left would be Semenyo, though. I could see him.
I love Semenyo. Semenyo, because also I think he'd be available for like a reasonable fee, like 40 to 50.
You love Bournemouth.
So another Bournemouth player.
Yeah, it's free. They're gonna go raid Bournemouth.
I love how someone else says something. This is suddenly his whole identity. His whole identity is you love Bournemouth.
Remember, they used to do this to Southampton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of people wouldn't take Kirkes. So the more people I talk to, the more that they go, well, we can't, if Frimpong's big link with us, I like him, he's a good FIFA player.
Wing back, though.
Yeah.
Apparently, Slot has had those conversations with him where he's been like, I want you. But then you cannot have two
Bombing fullbacks.
hyper-attacking.
Yeah.
Like Kirkes is basically a 10 who's been told to play left back. And Frimpong is basically a right winger who's been told to play right back.
And if you buy Kirkes and Frimpong, I'm sorry, that's your transfer budget, and you spent it on fullbacks.
And we need a striker.
You have to sell some players.
Well, Nunez will be sold,
Yeah.
and I think Diaz will be sold.
Harvey Elliott, they might have to sell.
Harvey
just
Elliott
to
may
bring
be
money
forced
in.
insane. Bear in mind, though, last summer we're talking as if Liverpool spent last summer.
Yeah, you didn't spend
got money.
They have got money.
So they got double. I used to do that for manager. I used to hold the money to next summer. It's a double.
Yeah. Which,
It's a rollover.
But it's a lot. These players are going to cost you a lot of money.
Yes.
Especially if you want Prem players.
Do you know who I think can replace Trent? I know this is going to sound crazy, but I want you to think about it.
Conor Bradley.
Nah. Pedro Porro.
Liverpool don't want that again.
No, but can you see what I'm saying though? On the ball.
No, I'm ignoring that. Do you think that
On the ball.
As a scout, what was he like? I don't actually know what that means.
do you think Klopp, right, was kind of forced to play Trent in midfield last year to try and get him to sign the contract? And this year, Arne Slot was like, I don't think he's going to sign a contract. I've got to try and maximise the season. You're playing right back.
I also think Slot has said, I don't think Slot has looked at Trent and thought, I'll be honest, I think Klopp saw that there were possibly some politicking issues around Trent, where it's like, we're going to try and fit this extreme talent in, and we sacrifice quite a lot with that. The problem is, because we've played him for such a long time, we now don't know what a right back looks like in the Liverpool team.
Conor Bradley?
Even then, Conor Bradley is quite an attacking right back. So we've seen it and it works, right? But we always think of Trent as like the A side. So mentally, you always defer to Trent being the right back.
Yeah.
So we've got this idea that we need that back there. And actually, I'm not as sure that we need Trent.
No.
And I think part of the reason Trent's going is because he looks at this Liverpool team and he goes, am I vital to what Liverpool are doing for the next 5 to 10 years?
Now, isn't it?
Yeah. And will I get the space to run into all the things that I need? I don't think he will. And I think Slot has basically come in and sort of very politely kind of gone, yeah, but...
So you're not mad at him going to Real Madrid?
I'm hurt in the emotional sense, in the sense that I know he's obviously a local. I think he's a leader, but although I think he's shirked some of that leader responsibility in the last year. I think he's not picked up the mantle in the way that I saw him do the season before that.
That's because he knows deep down in his heart that he's probably leaving. Then
I think so. Yeah. And I think also he realizes if loads of players that I've heard from have said we knew he was going. So there's a lot of Liverpool players who basically said to people around the start of the season, Trent's going Real Madrid next year.
I've got a player that can go to Liverpool.
Yeah, there's another one. Let's go.
Okay. We'll say it after 3. We'll say it together.
Yeah.
What position?
He can play in the wing and up front.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Bowen.
Yeah.
Bowen's a nice one, but
Klopp
he's missed the
wanted
boat.
Bowen. Yeah.
He's missed the boat.
Finally.
Yeah, he has missed the boat.
Klopp wanted him.
His contract is everything just counts him out.
Are you worried?
If we weren't on for the Premier, say we were fourth right now, and we were having this summer, I'd feel much, much worse. But the fact that we're competing for a title, and by the way, we're only competing for a title being a couple of points ahead of where we actually were with Klopp this time last year.
Yeah.
We're only really competing for a title because you guys haven't turned up so far.
And City didn't turn up.
And City didn't turn up at all. And United didn't. And Chelsea didn't.
That don't count.
No. They're not.
Respectfully,
They're
they're
nowhere.
All right, guys. All right. We're talking about Liverpool today.
But it worries me in the sense that
You don't care. You support West Ham.
when does the next time we get another run at it? I just think there is...
next
The
year.
reason we got Slot was because he gets value from low value players. Okay. And he did that in the Dutch league.
Yep.
So the
Feyenoord.
logic is
Feyenoord.
that he'll do it here as well.
Feyenoord.
Yes,
You
he's
look
right.
at the team that you lot won.
Who's that Feyenoord
the-
now?
Who's your favourite Feyenoord player?
Sorry, I'm listening to the question.
Who's at
sorry.
Feyenoord now? Isn't it?
Feyenoord player.
Is it Robin van Persie?
No, I'm
Robin van Persie.
answering Lauren's
Yeah.
question. My favourite of all time?
Yeah.
Van Bronckhorst.
Go on, T.
You look at the team that won the Champions League. It's
2019.
yeah, Alisson, Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Anderson, Henderson.
That
Fabinho.
team only played together once.
One
Yeah.
time. That's
What?
the only time.
Yeah.
Only game they played together. Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Salah, Firmino, Mane. Right.
Who did they beat? Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We obviously beat other people on the
it's
way.
It's on the way.
No,
It's on the way.
no.
It wasn't the Audi Cup, bro. It wasn't the Audi Cup.
But I'm grateful for that.
For the Audi Cup? Or?
No, I'm grateful
Oh, right,
for that
okay.
win.
Yeah, well,
I'm grateful. Thank you.
it's all right.
It's your Champions League.
It is. It's as much yours as
Arsenal
it
and
is
Spurs are allies.
In a lot of
Allies,
ways.
yeah.
Yeah.
What, in like a sort of Russia-China type way?
Enemy of my enemy, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
same with Man United as well. Man United and Spurs have got this little.
They've always been cousins.
Yeah, you lot are cousins. You lot are
But
definitely
you
cousins.
look at that team that won the Champions League. Obviously, it's a long time ago, 6 years ago. Like
It feels like a bit
shouldn't-
closer.
It felt because of COVID. I'm guessing.
And Klopp.
Yeah. But to end this season with just two of them maybe being starters, and
Is that bad? Because that's 6
okay,
years
it's
ago, that's not all that
it's
terrible.
not that bad, but it's like Klopp made it feel like
I think the problem was we were trying to hang on to that Klopp feeling forever.
Yeah, because
And
you
so-
haven't had it so long.
Do you feel like Slot's got Klopp's team?
100%.
Of course he does. But I
Do you
also
think he
feel...
wants to build a new team, or do you think he's going to keep the archetype of what Klopp had?
No, I think he'll build a whole new team. And I think the problem is, I said this on Sky Sports and just got so much abuse. 'Cause I think Liverpool fans are now we know it. But at the start of the season, a lot of people were like, oh, everything is set. It's good for the next however many years. I don't know if that's true. I don't even know if he likes this midfield that he plays.
Yeah.
I think he knows they fit and he's a good coach who can adapt to having that midfield. But we have to sub Alexis McAllister off at 60 minutes consistently. We have to sub Szoboszlai off consistently because players get tired. In that system, that's going to happen anyway. But I think he likes taller, slightly more athletic, maybe slightly less virtuoso type players than the ones we got. Which is why Gravenberch has thrived because he's a bit closer to that archetype.
Gakpo as
I'm
well.
interested to see what Slot does with money.
Well, it's not Slot doing anything with money.
See,
And-
he loves that one.
It's not the manager that buys the players.
It's the club.
It's his financial advisor.
It's the club.
It's not the manager
See,
who buys the players.
come on, foot manager.
I'm interested to see what list Slot brings to the office.
He's the
I think
face
his
team.
list is going to be an amazing, like it's going to be a list that I will not know half the players on that list, or it'll be like I will have seen them play once and it was for 5 minutes.
I think it's gonna be Poro. I think it's gonna be shockers.
According to you, it's Porro, Iwobi,
Chris
Bowden.
Chris Wood, and Phil Foden.
Bowen.
Yeah,
and I think he will bid for Rashford. I think he'll do that. You never know with football.
Is there a world where Harry Kane goes to Liverpool? Because he said he wants to come back to England.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
When did he
there's
say
talks
that?
about this. It's been coming out this season.
I knew it, man. All you gotta do is ask for his
he's not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah. You don't have your ear to the ground, like. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a good shout though.
Fabrizio.
It's a good shout
It's
though.
not about Fabrizio. It's what he said.
No, but look,
I like football, bro. I'm on a
Bro,
football
let
show.
me be honest. Let me be honest with you though. Remember, we said this before. Ishak Kane is Liverpool Arsenal.
I don't think he comes to Arsenal, obviously.
Who?
Kane.
Why not?
I don't
It's
think
the
he- I don't think he comes
it's the
to
same
Arsenal.
as Liverpool. Not. It's the same.
No, it's not the same.
Right, you need a striker.
No, I'm talking about Kane goes to Liverpool. He can go to Liverpool.
Why can't he go to Arsenal?
He can't. Come on, bro. This is silly. You're doing Football Manager. Specs can sign him on Football Manager. He ain't coming to Arsenal.
See,
Bro. He said it
Getting to Arsenal,
himself.
is that realistic?
No.
When did he say it himself?
He said he would never come to Arsenal.
Where? When
What
was
do you mean
this?
where?
How come I ain't seen this video?
Bro, he's a Tottenham man.
Have you seen this video?
No.
Well, bring out the files, my B. you can't say that.
Well, I'm saying it for him. He's not coming to Arsenal. We know that. That's never going to happen. But I can see in a world where he goes to Liverpool. Yeah.
Oh, what a legacy. Not if he goes to winning the Premier League at another team. That's his legacy now.
Do you think?
Yeah, of
But
course.
that's the same as Sol Campbell then, and Sol Campbell's legacy is sort of marred in a weird.
Sol Campbell and Harry Kane are very different human beings, though. Sol Campbell didn't own his legacy until now, and he's trying to backtrack and own it, and it's not really clicking.
It becomes a bit like a Kevin Durant thing where you went to the Golden State Warriors to get a ring, and that becomes a bit of a problem.
Well, who?
Don't worry, we'll sit back.
You know who KD is. Don't act like you don't know Kevin Durant is,
Bruv,
bro.
I watched him cry in his Hall of Fame. That's the only thing I've seen. I ain't seen him dunk, man.
Does Lawrence the footballer care more? Like Lawrence's career, you've had a great career. Do you care more about having trophies and not being a legend at any club? Or would you like to be a legend at a club and win, not nothing, but next to nothing?
Kane won nothing.
I know, but he's going to win something soon.
He's going to win the Bundesliga.
Yeah. Let's just pretend he has.
Yeah. He's going to win the Bundesliga.
But you see,
Something
my
like that.
perfect player is Xabi Alonso, who sort
his
of
liquor.
he had the demeanor of someone who would never win anything in his whole career, but he won everything in his career.
Everything.
Weirdly, because everyone always underrated him through his whole career.
Who's
Xabi
that?
Alonso
And he played for three of the biggest teams on the planet.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool,
and Real Madrid.
Madrid.
And Real Madrid, yeah. He managed to fit in there, yeah.
Yeah. But I can see Liverpool going in for Kane. If he said, because he's like, he did say there's talks of him, he wants to come back to the Premier League one day.
You keep doing this quote.
It is. And if he does come back to the Premier League, he goes to Liverpool.
I don't hate it, but I just don't see it because how long would Kane last?
Yeah, it's about 3 years probably.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but if he could get 2 Premier Leagues out of those 3 years, that's good enough for him.
I don't
that's
hate
more than
your
good enough for you.
logic. It just doesn't fit any of Liverpool's previous transfer logic. But how much would you have to pay for Kane? What would
60.
Kane?
60 million.
60 M's.
But you might have players that they'd want. Soboslai being probably top of the list.
Bro, I'd rather keep Soboslai than
He's
get
class.
Kane and buy.
How can you ask him to get rid of Soboslai?
Might not be what the manager wants.
How many times has Liverpool signed the best player in the world?
Van Dijk, Alisson.
No.
Van Dijk and Alisson. Alisson was the best goalkeeper in the world when Liverpool.
Yes, he was.
At Roma.
Bro, yeah.
That year,
No.
yeah, that year.
Name a
Where
bet.
were Roma that year? 'Cause I don't remember Roma being. Is
that the way that works?
Yeah, of course. You can't be at Roma where they're not in the Champions League or anything.
I'm pretty sure he was in the Champions League.
I'd probably
Yeah,
give it
yeah.
to Courtois then, though.
He had like man of the match games in the Champions League.
Alisson was the best.
Alisson
goalkeeper
was
of the
world
year.
class at Roma.
How much
Bro,
was Alisson for?
We got Alisson for 60 mil. We're not paying
I think
60
he
mil
won.
for someone
I
who's
think he
not
won
world class.
UEFA Team of the Year that year. I think I'm right in saying that.
Van Dijk, when we signed him, obviously, arguably, you can't be the best player in the world at
Southampton,
Southampton,
yeah.
but you knew.
Harry Maguire was better than Van Dijk at that time.
Don't worry.
No,
about him.
don't worry
about him.
At that time.
Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him.
Hey, Lawrence, at that time.
Which day?
When Van Dijk was at Southampton, Harry Maguire was at
But he wasn't better than him
not Leicester.
individually.
No, he was at Leicester. He was at Hull.
But he wasn't better than him individually, though, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Holes Maguire was not
Harry
better
Maguire's never been better individually.
Should have probably went in for Scalia. PSG. That was
Kvaratskhelia.
like, yeah.
I think we were in for him.
Yeah,
but
that's 60 M's.
I think PSG is just.
That's
His wages were going to be crazy.
Yeah, but they couldn't afford those wages once they offload Trent.
Did you see what he did? Did you see the goal that he scored that was offside against us?
Oh, it's incredible. But if you got him, that's a great
I feel
replacement.
Great. I feel great about that.
Do you remember what he did against you for Napoli?
They got wage rules, though.
What he
Destroyed
did, I was
Trent.
at that game.
Destroyed
He
Trent.
absolutely destroyed, and that was also who had a nightmare that night.
James
Joe
Milner.
Gomez.
Oh,
Joe
yeah,
Gomez.
yeah.
Joe
He
Gomez
was
had
exposed, though.
He had a horrible
Milner
night.
was in the six.
Yeah. He had a horrible.
Lawrence,
night.
would you take Victor Osimhen?
Yes, I love Victor Osimhen. I
Is that
think
because
he
is that because of trauma? Because of what he did to you with Napoli?
He's trying to get at you, Lawrence.
No, I'm asking. Just a question.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I suppose when you see a player do something against your team, then you do rate it more.
That's
But
how you lot sign players, actually.
Nunez was
Yeah.
exactly that. I think the problem with Osimhen is his wages are way too high for us. We wouldn't break our wage structure.
It's
But
going to be a time you're going to have to do that.
you know, when you see him in real life, watching Osimhen in real life is like it's like an experience. He just looks, especially in Serie A, he was quicker than everyone else. He towered over everyone else. He was so direct. He drove so much.
Always gets to the ball first.
Always got, and it looked like he was twice as fast. His legs looked like they were moving in slow motion, but it looked like he was twice as fast as the other guy. I love Osimhen as a player, but I just can't see. I see him at Chelsea or something like that.
Coming United.
I'd rate that so highly if he went to United. It'd be incredible.
We haven't said his name this whole time.
Oh no.
Mo Salah.
Right.
What did Liverpool do with Mo Salah this summer?
We've got to re-sign him.
Can you? If
Do
you can't afford
so can I
Osimhen's
genuinely
wage-
ask you a question? How much do you think, how many goals do you think another player in that position gets? Say we've spent 60 million and we replace him.
14 max.
Yeah, 13.
But the cap you're looking at is 14.
So with that logic, right, do you think, though, that other players do more in the Liverpool team if there isn't the emphasis on Salah? I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just asking the question because I do think Liverpool's system, we don't force feed Salah, but we put a lot through him and we give him a lot of opportunity to shine.
Oh, and the guy behind him, he's gone, by the way, does not offer him the protection that a 30-plus-year-old Salah would want up there doing all this attacking stuff. But the guy behind him is Trent.
Yeah.
So
Trent does assist him a lot, though. So
course he
there's
does,
maybe
yeah.
that
Hell of a
relationship
lot.
there.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think, but you're talking about complete. Once you take Salah out, you're talking about
It's a new
complete
team.
culture change.
Yeah.
It's a new team. Everything's different.
But it should be. Like, let's just do it, man.
But the real problem, so I was speaking to someone called Ian Graham who wrote the book How to Win the Premier League. It's a really great book.
Did he win the Premier League?
Yeah, he was the guy who was Liverpool's lead researcher for like
Oh,
10 years.
sick.
Basically completely rebuilt the club.
That's hard.
He went through the Brendan Rodgers era and basically says in like geek terms, Brendan Rodgers is a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like he said, there's a chapter in the book where he talks about how Brendan Rodgers was adamant that Christian Benteke needed to be signed at Liverpool, and they were like,
Jeez. Bro.
like let's just
That's a spec signing.
chill on that one.
That's a spec
Let's
signing.
just relax. And they were like, look, that's why they signed Ricky Lambert. The reason they signed Ricky Lambert was because they wanted to prove to Brendan Rodgers that a big man in your team doesn't work like that.
For £3 million, let's do it. Yeah.
But Brendan went, no, we got to get him, which is why they got in one summer Benteke and Firmino, because they wanted Firmino and he wanted Benteke.
Jesus.
And look at how that worked out.
Jesus.
So what does
Anyway,
he say?
he said, because I asked him, why don't we just skip the middleman and go for who Bournemouth and Brighton are going for and get those guys, right? And then we don't pay 80 million, we pay 15.
Yeah.
And he said, you can't take that risk as Liverpool of becoming Bournemouth or Brighton by signing that level of player. You have to sign the player that is like a sure bet to you. Mane, he said Salah was a more sure thing than the outside world realised.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing crazy numbers at Roma.
But remember, like Mina Rizuki and all the other guys who were Syria correspondents at that time were like, bad idea. Salah, 10 goals a season. He'll be a mid player, blah, blah, blah. But, he'll be playing off Benteke or whatever. I think what we're trying to do at the moment is make these players that we're talking about signing fit into a Klopp system.
Yeah.
And I think next year you're going to see it'll get further and further away from the Klopp system.
Which makes me wonder, like, you have a leadership crisis now.
Sure.
Because Henderson's gone.
I think that crisis has been solved to an extent. Like I think
You just say Henderson.
And Van Dijk and Alisson.
You could
Yeah.
say Van Dijk. Don't
so
say
you're foreseeing a crisis as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But Liverpool, I understand that. I think if you keep Van Dijk, then that a lot of that leadership crisis is averted.
Yeah.
But you have to keep one of those three.
He's going to have to deal with a new right back and a new left back.
That new left back also has to deal with him.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with Kirkes, right? Is I think Kirkes, there are coaches who talk about he's uncoachable, or he had problems with Iraola when he was first at the club. He said he wanted out, that it was terrible.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I wonder if you got Van Dijk, because Van Dijk castigates Andy Robertson, who's next to him, for the whole game. And when Tsimikas is on, it's like he's bullying him. Like, as Liverpool fans at the game, you watch him. You can't always see it on TV because you can't see the way the players are communicating. If you watch Van Dijk at a game, he's yelling at Tsimikas like Tsimikas doesn't matter. Like he's up.
I've
Well,
seen
he's
that.
just Shadow Robertson.
I've seen that though.
He is.
But he speaks to Robbo in the same way.
Yeah, but I think Robertson
He
loves
speaks to
it.
Trent the same way.
He does.
speaks to Trent the
no,
same-
with Trent, he blanks him now.
Yeah, now just
Half the Liverpool
look,
team
yeah.
now, because they know that in Trent's mind he's going, that was me. And the rest of them go,
Yeah, we know.
they're all like, yeah.
Now it's just a look.
I've seen.
It's true, he
I've
does.
seen him
He
look at
turns
Trent.
so slowly from his mistakes.
He does.
Don't let me see the camera.
You would get, but as Trent, you might be like a bit pissed by that. I'd be annoyed if I was Trent and that was happening, because I'd know that Van Dijk was playing to the cameras.
Yeah.
Do you Arne Slot, do you think this season, which season's harder out of the two now? This one or next one?
So I think next season's harder.
Okay.
I think this team was coached so well by Klopp, and then Slot picked up on that really amazing coaching. What happened was Slot benefited in the way that they thought David Moyes was from Ferguson.
Yeah.
They thought the ethos will continue, blah, blah, blah. I just think Slot came in as a much stronger candidate, obviously, than David Moyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think a lot of the players bought in because they were tired of Klopp's methods. A lot of the players were like, I'm ready for Klopp to leave. A lot of the guys were saying things like, he's using the same things over and over, and it doesn't get me going in the same way. So when Slot came in, you remember Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, all the young guys were like, this is a breath of fresh air. I think Klopp knew that his methods were beginning to ebb away. That's what I'm talking about, is over those seasons when the players start to doubt you, it begins to be, the pressure builds up because the players start to get frustrated.
That's interesting because what Pep does is get rid of the team. What Liverpool done is got rid of the gaffer.
Manager, yeah.
Well, the gaffer got rid of himself.
Yeah.
And then Pep also has a mental breakdown and completely disappears and then comes back as Pep Guardiola a year later. So have you ever seen that Barca documentary where Dani Alves is chatting and he basically says that Pep will come into training and they thought it was another person.
Is it?
They thought he was having an actual mental breakdown and becoming a different man.
Oh, wow.
He is mad.
Oh, that's a
But that's because his identity is so
Ingrained
in the
Success.
team and
Yeah,
vice
yeah,
versa.
yeah.
So when his team don't play the way that his identity is, he's like, well, where's my identity?
Pep, you need a break, man. Just leave. Just take a break, man.
But there was a genuine worry that City would never get rid of Pep, but that Pep would basically just go, can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then they've got to supercharge. So they've had conversations, Xabi Alonso, all these kind of guys, around if Pep was to go, would you?
I think he wants them to get relegated. I think he wants the punishment to be relegation so he can just go back down and just be like, this is new, rebuild from here.
Like a sadistic sort of like...
That'd be sick.
Because when that
Back
happened
to
with
Barca
Juve,
B.
Yeah.
that was
Man
a
City
big
B.
thing at Juve. Like, do you remember when Conte did the whole like, we will...
Oh, we shall overcome.
And he like killed Buffon in front of everyone, and Buffon like loved it. They were sort of like jacking off into each other's faces while they were doing it. That's
Jesus
what it worked.
Christ.
No, you know what I mean though. Like
No,
they
I
fucking
don't.
got off in.
I know what you mean.
Well, you've never.
Someone's face.
You're doing it now with a can.
You're doing it now with the
can, bro. What are you talking about?
You're doing it now with the can.
But like some managers get a bit like they love that, and it's emotionally like draining. I think Slot came in and was like just chilled it.
Yeah, Slot came in at the right time for Liverpool.
But people say there are lots of Man United. Like I've got a few Man United friends, like Statman Dave and those kind of people.
You got
who
me
are
now.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. And then he basically went, this is where Slot peaks, and this will be his peak at Liverpool.
This season?
That's what loads of people are saying.
So he's like just a transition manager.
That's what obviously if you want to take shots at Liverpool, then that's the theory.
Yeah.
I thought that's kind of easy to say.
It's,
though.
winning the league.
It's very because
winning the league's a
he's
good
losing
peak.
some of the best players ever.
Exactly.
So what do...
It's a fluke, innit?
That's what people will label this season. They'll go, well, Arsenal.
I don't think it's a fluke. I just feel that he's just picked up a great
It will
team.
be if next year it's. But then again,
It's not a fluke.
Though, yeah,
it's not a
tough-
fluke because of the
tough to
players he
say.
has, the squad he had.
Do you
so
know
it's
what?
not a fluke.
You know what hints at fluke? PSG, Newcastle, Plymouth Argyle.
We only went out against PSG on penalties.
But
And PSG are
PSG
arguably I'd say second or third favourites in the competition.
Yeah, whether they're favourites or not doesn't mean they're the second or third best.
How's that work?
Well, I think we don't know how good they are because they came across a Liverpool team that we thought were very good. So we're basing our assessment of them. We know the quality of the players individually, but it's a very young team. But they really took it to you. Let's see what happens in the next round. If they go out and they
You can look me in the eye when you say he took it to Liverpool.
Oh, they took it. They
Battered City. Say battered City too.
But
I think they. I agree. I was at that game.
Enrique's good though.
I was at that game.
Of course,
He's proper.
but the measure of the team now is based on performances against bad teams. And we had this conversation about Manchester City a few weeks ago. Like, a lot of the time we're looking at Premier League teams saying, yeah, they're actually quite good this year. But actually all we're thinking is they beat Man City. And then after a few months, you retrospectively look back and go, wait, that wasn't a big thing. That wasn't amazing. Like,
Yeah, because everyone's beating Man
everyone's
City.
beating Man City. So I think
I never
PSG
said that Liverpool were good on the back of beating City. I think City have been piss poor this season.
100%. But I look at PSG and I say, did Liverpool get knocked out by a superior team? Or did they get knocked out by a team that was superiorly handled, managed, coached tactically? And that I don't know the answer to that yet.
I don't think it's one or the other though. I think it's that obviously PSG looked a lot sharper on the night.
Yeah.
I think they looked a bit less jaded than Liverpool
Yeah,
did.
I thought that's what I thought.
Klopp's intensity
That
in
game
that,
look-
especially in that second leg, would not have allowed you to be dominated the way you were.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's Klopp
We
or
weren't
Slot.
actually really dominated in that second leg. The second leg, actually, I think even Luis Enrique said after the game, Liverpool were the better team
For the
tonight.
first 25 minutes.
For the first 25 minutes,
Yeah.
Liverpool had two
First
chances
25,
where the
30
goal
minutes.
was open and Salah missed two chances.
No,
in the first 25
you for the first 25 to 30
But
minutes.
say
he
we
was on
scored
top of
one
the
goal
game.
in that time.
Everything changes.
Game
Yeah, but they
changes.
didn't though.
No, but that's my point. Is that knockout football is like that. Knockout football is, but you didn't.
But after that,
But over the course of
game
180
it
minutes
was open
as well, or
Yeah,
100,
they battered.
210 minutes.
First half they destroyed you.
It was clear who the better team was.
It was clear who the better team in Paris was. I think when you take it back to Anfield, I think it's less clear who the better
But you did
team is.
lose at Anfield.
Yeah, but
That's not something I just don't think Klopp would have lost to PSG at Anfield.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Klopp's lost some. I think we forget.
But not to that
some of Klopp.
PSG team.
You're not thinking about like Atletico.
Yeah.
We lost to a couple of
That the
weird
lockdown
sides
game.
in
That lockdown game.
that pre-lockdown game.
Right before lockdown.
That was a game where you go
Morata.
Klopp will out intensity. In many ways, that's very similar to this PSG team in
is,
the way that we
it
lost
is,
that
yeah.
game. And knockout football is like that.
I just think if you're looking at key performance metrics that could tell you that Liverpool are not as good as their league position indicates, and that maybe they are in a massive downgrade period with the contracts expiring and the ages going. Because even if you keep
Van Dijk,
Salah and
you
Van
still have to
Dijk,
replace them
they're
relatively
still a
soon.
year older.
Sure.
They output should decrease at this age.
Even if their output decreased by 10, okay. So if their output decreased by 10%, I think it does take the team down more than that 10% that they lose.
Because City are back next year on paper.
But bear in mind, we're talking about them signing contracts. That contracts can be 5 years or 2 years.
Yeah.
They're signing 2-year contracts, realistically, maybe 3. They're not signing long-term contracts. So really what Liverpool are doing is buying transition time in this side.
But negative equity, because they will be lesser players next year. To what percentage we don't know, but that's just the consequence of age.
I don't know if you can immediately say, I don't think you're wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if either of them came back next year and they weren't
As good as they were
this
year.
season.
Exactly.
Well, with Salah especially, it's very difficult. This might be the best Premier League season he's ever going to have. Or any
Tigo,
player
you
will
made a
ever
match.
have. Huh?
No, I'm saying Tigo made his match today.
Maybe, but maybe it's also, maybe I'm just being boring for the sake of it. Like, I just think Van Dijk, you could argue, has another season. I don't think Van Dijk's ever looked like he's out of third gear this
No, I
season.
agree.
Even when PSG were playing at their best, realistically, Van Dijk was always in position.
Do you think we're gaslighting you lot, or do you lot have a problem?
No, I think Liverpool fans are very ready to. We knew that there would be multiple transitions. We just assumed that they would be under Klopp, and you feel safer under Klopp. So you feel, well, at least his identifying of talent that he wanted broadly looks pretty good. But weirdly, go on.
No, I got to keep going.
No, go on.
What
that's
do you
it.
disagree with?
No, I don't agree with disagree.
Go on.
No, I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
Your face made it look as if
No,
it
it's
did.
just.
He's sticking it on you,
The
bro.
way you express yourself doesn't
Call me.
represent
Talk
your
up,
inner
talk
feeling.
me.
It's got nothing to do with Liverpool. Not what
Call
he's
me.
saying. I'm hearing what he's saying. I'm just next season. I know what's going to happen with Liverpool fans. They are actually going to have the opportunity just to chill. There's going to be no level of expectation on them to a high degree.
Not to the high pressure where you can make them crack.
You think they can shit the bed and have
Oh,
an
I think
excuse?
100% Liverpool could shit the bed next season. Yeah, 100%.
By the way, what has really
100%.
relieved me this season, because Man United fans, one thing that we heard from them consistently was Liverpool are the worst champions ever when we had that fall-off season.
Yeah.
Consistently, you can say that Man City have been the worst champions.
Oh,
this
yeah,
season. This is
the worst for. No,
This is
Leicester.
way worse.
They're allowed it. They're allowed it.
See what I'm saying? Allow it.
You've got to lose 3 first-team players, and don't try and find someone who's technically first. You've got to lose 3 of them this year, and you've got to replace them. Where are you going?
As in, if I had to drop 3 guys, but I know Mamardashvili is coming in.
Mamardashvili, you can't drop Alisson, yeah.
So I can't drop. I talk about Alisson, Van Dijk, Trent, or Salah. I've got to pick someone else out of that.
No, you could pick those 3 if you
All
want.
right. Okay. So if I'm talking
If
about
you're
first team
doing the
players, I
business
think it's
now.
fairly easy. First team players,
Yeah.
2 of them. Robertson,
Yep.
that's fairly easy,
Replaced with.
and I mean that in the most respectful way.
Cause, legends.
But it's not fair on him to ask him to play a full season anymore.
His time's coming to him.
And frankly, what I do actually, if we do sign Kirkes or someone like that, I would ask Robertson to stay, and I would sell Tsimikas.
Yeah.
The logic behind that is Robertson, with less games to play, can still maintain a level of fitness, but have that leadership that we need in the team.
You need that.
Right? So I don't mind that. So Robertson. Diaz, I'd drop tomorrow. I'd have dropped him last season.
You can't get rid of Diaz, man.
I think
His
Diaz
output is terrible.
His
man.
output
Diaz is one of those kind of players. If Salah does leave, he's the guy that will shine.
Who's better, Diaz or
I'm
Martinelli?
telling you. I've seen this with Arsenal before.
Who's better, Diaz or Martinelli?
Diaz.
I allow it, man. you talking about?
Why is it allowed?
Diaz is way better than
Diaz is
Martinelli.
way better than
Wait, that's not even. I don't like the question.
It's a bad question.
It's not a bad
The questions pissed me off. I'm
Martinelli,
mad now.
Be mad then.
Martinelli does play well against
Be
Liverpool.
mad.
though, really.
I'm mad.
Be mad then.
Your intonation is incredible.
Yeah,
And
but
Nunez.
I remember when Arsenal got rid of RVP, and then goals came. From
Got rid
other
of is
players.
a very generous
Sorry.
phrase. there.
So when
Yeah.
RVP
Thank God we got rid of that guy.
Arsenal. But yeah, I think Diaz. I think he's the player that comes out of his shell.
I think the problem being we just don't have that luxury. We've had him for long enough now where we're sort of like, look, he's spent time at the club and he wants to move on.
Yeah, but the ball's always on that. Like you said, the ball's it's all about Salah on that. When it comes to like that front three, it's always on that side.
Oh, so why do you have that same energy for Martinelli? Because the ball's always on that side of Saka.
Saka's been out for months.
I'm looking at Lawrence, like, and I'm chatting to Lawrence, and this brother just came out of nowhere. Like, just pray from vision.
he is on the show.
Yeah, I'm chasing him. I'm chasing
Your
him.
match is next up.
Yeah, I'm chasing
Wait in your locker room, bro. But
chasing
I'm just saying, like, you were saying that the ball's always on that side, and it's like it's all about Salah. But now, if Salah is not there, surely he comes because he's got. Come on, Lawrence. Out of the rest of the players, he's the one that's got the potential to actually do Salah things.
Diaz.
Surely. What?
No.
You know, Liverpool fans showed me that Diaz is more for fans of not Liverpool to look at and be like, wow, when he does it right, it's so good. It's very
Doesn't do it enough.
inconsistent.
There's a lot of frustration around Diaz for Liverpool fans.
Oh, sorry. So, out of Diaz and Gakpo, who is that guy that you will keep and maybe has a chance of getting-
Gakpo.
Yeah, hands down.
Also, the problem being we're not
over
fully
Diaz.
representing the story because the story is obviously that Diaz wants to go to Barcelona or
That's
wants to
it.
go to
And
another
Barca
team.
want him.
And if I'm going to get rid of a player, I'm going to get rid of a player who doesn't want to be there.
So who are you replacing him with?
I mean, Gakpo's a kind of ready-made replacement, and then like we were talking about a Semenyo or someone in that level. So it's got to be like a £50
Diaz
million
out, Semenyo
wing.
in.
100%.
Diaz out, Semenyo in.
Love it.
Semenyo's way more effective than Diaz. It's not even about goals. We're just talking about like he's more of a better player than Diaz.
I've heard it all.
But imagine also that then what you're doing is you're also replacing your striker. So you could potentially, because what we keep thinking of is we're still thinking of Klopp wingers. We're still thinking of that output of having to be like those Klopp wingers.
Mane, Salah.
But if you've got Isak, you can downgrade.
Wait, so you're selling Nunez for Isak?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. You can downgrade to a winger who doesn't get 30 goals a season or 20 or whatever, and is because we historically relied on Mane and Salah to be those guys. Really, all you're then saying, Salah, is keep your output and feed your striker, which arguably Nunez treats Salah like a blanket anyway, like a little blankie that he always goes towards on the field. Nunez gets his head up and it's like, where is Salah? And he always gravitates in that direction. When he's not near him, it becomes very like he's lost. And his head goes down.
Do you think Isak would want to go to Liverpool though?
Yeah.
Knowing that Salah's going to stay.
I'm even thinking that you lot are looking at the wrong guy in to replace Salah.
Which
I think it's Kudus. I think Kudus is a better replacement for Salah than Semenyo. But I hear it.
But let's say this: Semenyo left, right, with Xerxes because they played together. They know that wing. Then Isak inside on front, when Isak pulls left, Semenyo comes inside. Liverpool are devastating on that wing now, and then you shifted the whole attack onto that side.
You know who is moving somewhere though?
Yeah.
Anthony Robertson.
It won't be Liverpool. He's
It
too
was
old.
Liverpool last year though.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was just that he was in the discussion
this
because
guy,
he
you
did
know.
things that we thought would fit. But he's too old now.
How old is he? 27.
27.
28, something.
Well, if you're 27, 28,
ageist.
you're Robinson, I feel like Liverpool looking at you and going, the
he's
maximum we'll get out of you is
Well, he's
what?
just, it doesn't matter how old he is, man. Grab him.
he's good. But I think they'll probably go for someone like Hall over Robertson.
What is it for at Liverpool?
I said they'll probably go for Hall more than
Oh,
Robertson.
Newcastle Hall.
Yeah. No, Liverpool.
Well, the Robertson.
Yeah,
Hatto's the
Who's
one
better?
for me.
Hatto.
Hatto.
Yeah.
Hatto.
Who's better? What? Robertson and who?
Probably Robinson for me.
Okay.
I'd go Hatto at Ajax.
Actually, Hall.
30 million, and you're looking at again like a good hookup with Van Dijk and all that kind of thing. That works for me.
And last question: is there a player in and around the academy that comes into the squad when a few players leave
When
this
it's not
year?
Bradley.
Where's that black kid?
Do you mean Ngamawa?
The tall one, the midfielder. Like he's like a attacking.
Yeah, number 40.
Oh, do you mean Yoni? Trey
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. He was in your pre-season.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be-
He's good. He's a good player. Although I think again, like you probably just got to pack on some muscle to play in a slot side. Ngamawa is the guy we signed from Chelsea, and now Chelsea have banned. Well, Liverpool have been banned from their under whatever training sessions because we've tried to take so many of their players.
Chelsea they got a cheek. How much players they still?
But so he's good.
He's very young though.
There's a conversation as well around out on the right wing with
Ben Doak.
Ben Doak, yeah. But I just don't know if Doak.
He's small.
I don't know if he fits the profile that we'd look for. But maybe if we got like an Isak, then there is like maybe feed a bigger.
Can I ask you a question though? So what happens to like the Curtis Joneses and those kind of characters? Because
Curtis will stay in the squad. I don't.
when, like Jordy said, when he has his own transfer market and gets players,
Yeah.
is Jones still in and around the squad, even starting? Because he's too good. Like we said, he's too good to just be on a bench for Liverpool.
So say the problem for Liverpool this summer, right, is you obviously Trent homegrown, Harvey I think counts as homegrown.
He does, yeah.
Obviously Curtis is homegrown. We've actually got a pretty low amount of homegrown players in the squad, so we can't afford to get rid of those guys. So we have to fulfill those spots. So while we're busy talking about it'd be great to bring in this guy from this country, it's not actually possible broadly. That's why I think maybe someone like
Changes the
Anthony
colour of this
Gordon.
whole conversation, you know.
Yeah, that's not a great way of putting it, but I get your point. Yeah,
Tigo got punched in the ribs and he said, "Ah!"
Oh, man.
no, but you get my point.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, it does, but it's
T, you bottled it today.
What? What did you think he was going to put it on me? You think he was going to put it on me?
Oh, sorry. Well, last question, Lawrence.
Oh yeah,
Rankley's free.
yeah.
Mo Salah, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry, Mo Salah, Cristiano Ronaldo.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
He's a smart man.
nicely
But I
done.
can explain why.
You don't have
It's
to.
not
'Cause
hard.
it's
No.
He's got controversial takes about this.
Thierry Henry is the greatest player ever.
Yeah, facts. Not
Greatest
ever.
Premier League player. Greatest
yeah.
Premier League player ever. He's the most beautiful in terms of his style.
Did you see that thread on Twitter the other day of the French people putting up his goals for Arsenal and France? Just some of these goals, just
Insane.
Unreal.
unbelievable.
He had a bit more space to
Unreal.
operate in, and Anelka also operated in a very beautiful way in the Premier League. I think people forget how good Anelka was.
Yeah, definitely. Anelka was.
If you watch Anelka's goals in the Premier League, they're very Omri-esque sometimes, like, especially some of his long distance strikes.
Yeah, it's just
For someone as skinny as Anelka as well, like I think you forget that.
But you did put Salah ahead of Ronaldo, which
I
is
did put Salah ahead of Ronaldo. I think the problem that United fans have is he
wrong.
burned very brightly in that period, and he was extremely good. But they seem to think that he still played for Manchester United when he played for Real Madrid.
Yeah, but the best Ronaldo in that 1 or 2 is better than anything Salah's done.
But the reason I make the argument for Salah is longevity, and Salah is about to have statistically the best Premier League season ever, as long as he doesn't drop off a cliff, like some people may.
If he wins the Ballon d'Or,
He won't-
Ballon
It's
d'Or,
not the point about the Ballon d'Or.
If
The
he
point
wins
about
that
the Ballon
Ballon
d'Or is
d'Or-
irrelevant.
I'll give it to you. If he wins that Ballon d'Or, I'll allow
Ballon
you.
d'Ors are pointless.
Last question before you go. Do you think Liverpool got away with it this season? Just Arsenal not being as good or as Man City?
Oh
not
yeah,
being
yeah, I
as
do.
good?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I think we
I
were
respect that.
allowed an easier season than we should have had. Like, say we were 6 points. Say you were 6 points closer, and you hadn't the bed, then we would definitely be a lot more nervous at this point.
He just threw a stone at you.
He did throw a stone because we didn't the bed. Injuries is not in the bed. Injuries is not in the bed.
If Arteta stays this summer, do you think he got away with it?
You Arteta?
I'm going to ask you a genuine question. And I'll ask you a genuine question. How many days have Arsenal spent at the top of the Premier League this season?
It's
This
zero,
is-
isn't it?
That's the answer.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so, at what point is it? What point is it that Arsenal, at any point this season, profiled like a team who would win the Premier League?
No point this season.
But that was pre-injuries. They've not had injuries for the entire season. They've had a very strong team up until a certain point
No,
where
it's not
injuries
about
started
getting up.
coming
It's
in.
not about getting up.
And even before Arsenal started getting these injuries, it's arguable that I personally think they were on for. I think they should have done better anyway. Right? What are you guys doing?
I don't, no, I'm trying to. I wait for the robot. I'm waiting for him to land.
Well, get up then.
No, count the 3 when it's my turn.
Walk to me.
No. When he finishes, then
you
I.
gotta put your hands up.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah.
What can I do? Not
Go
listen.
on, go on, let him
I
land.
have to let him land first. Go on. You were saying good points, so now I'm going to rebuttal it.
That you think Arsenal have looked at any point this season as good as, if not better than Liverpool?
I don't think we looked as good as Liverpool this season, but that doesn't mean that we still couldn't win the league without looking as good as you. I just sort of feel like the injuries, to some degree, has hindered us from winning this league.
So I agree
No,
with
no,
that.
of course, everyone does go through injuries, but our injuries came at a time where everybody got injured at the same time. Now, I'm not saying that we might have won the league, even if we had all those players, but I just feel like they've got away with it.
I agree. So I do agree with that.
Arsenal usually have a second half of the season run, which is built up from tactically moving stuff around in the first half of the season and then being strong defensively and having a few different outlets to score goals in the second half of the season. That's what Arteta does.
But that's why
This
I'm
year,
saying
he didn't get it after Christmas.
But I'm also saying I think that's still due. I still think that Arsenal are due a little bit of that run. And I think you're going to get a couple of good players back. I think you're going to close that gap on Liverpool. And I think it'll finish between 6 and 3 points difference.
But Lawrence, some teams have clocked how Arsenal are doing things as well.
That as well.
Yeah, like the ball to Saka, cutting Odegaard, that stuff.
But all right, this is the actual last question. Because we've taken a lot of Lawrence's time here. Where did Liverpool finish next year?
First, surely.
If I didn't say first, it would sound bad. But I think third, somewhere like that.
That's bottling it. That's what I'm saying. They do
There's
this.
no.
Even
what's with all the
in there?
changes, there's not a third team that you can see taking their spot.
Where does Liverpool have to finish next season, may I ask?
Top 4.
Top 3.
Top 4 and you win in the league.
What do you mean?
Next season.
We just did 2 hours talking about why that is a great season for Liverpool.
What, to finish top 4?
Yeah.
And they just won the league?
Yeah.
So sorry. So you're saying now that you think the standard if you win the league is that your only goal the next season can be to win the league?
At least compete. Don't tell me top 4.
Yeah,
One or
but
two.
top 4 is competing. Top 4 this season is not competing.
Top 4 is not competing, Lawrence. Lawrence, top 4 is not competing at all.
But you didn't ask me how tight that is. We could finish third and be like
because there's
3
never been a
points off.
4-horse race. So is in my eyes, top 4 is not
but
competing.
City are back next year.
There's never been a 4-horse race.
City will be back next year.
So that's
Arsenal will
so
be
that's
very
2.
strong next
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
You could make the case that Liverpool will be in that, as I answered, the team in third, right?
Third, and you just won the league. That's embarrassing.
You're not listening to the words you're saying.
Brother, let him land.
I did.
Who's fighting?
I did.
Brother, let him land.
So then tell me another team that you think is as strong as any of those teams or will be next season.
No, it'll just be us three. I think it'd be Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. But you told me
But
top 4.
the gap between Liverpool and City and Arsenal should be quite.
It'll be
steep.
significant. Yeah, it'll be
Not
significant. to the
significant. It should be
Yeah,
about
it'll be-
7-8 points.
Okay, cool.
So say that
But
then
you said
we
it'd be top 4.
Say then we've moved on from Trent. We might move on from, say we moved on from Trent, so it was only Trent. I think top 3 is the only thing that's acceptable there, maybe top 2. But say that Van Dijk or Salah is to leave, I think top 4 becomes acceptable for Liverpool
Because you
you've
never
lost another
know
leader there.
if Chelsea do sign this or get this manager or whatever. But
Or United.
yeah, no.
But they still have to be there, though.
Kieran McKenna.
Regardless who comes in, they still have to be there.
But no one's saying they're not there. I've very clearly detailed why they are there. But
Compete for the league, first or second. Compete
Where do
for the
you
league.
have to finish next year?
We have to compete first or second.
Oh.
But that's the level of expectation. Don't go, that's the level of expectation.
But there was a conversation
Everybody's
going on
putting
even just a
Arsenal.
week ago saying that Nottingham Forest might come further
That's not
ahead than you
happening
guys.
again next season. That's a one-off. Forest won't be there next season.
But that's not the point is this season, Arsenal were talking about competing. And if you're talking about Nottingham Forest finishing ahead of Arsenal, then they really weren't competing.
And where do Man City have to
But
finish?
they won't finish above us next season.
Where
won't.
But there was a conversation just going into the international break
Conversation
about that.
that Chelsea might win the league. That was never going to happen.
When-
Yeah, but
Football.
that was so
Miles.
long ago.
Yeah,
Miles,
that
we're
was
talking
about
never
2
gonna
weeks
be
ago.
above
Miles,
us.
where do Man City have to finish this year? Next year?
They have to compete.
Where do they have to finish next year?
At least second or third.
Okay, second or first?
Second, yeah.
Okay, so that's 3
No,
teams who
second
have to
or
finish.
third.
Second or third?
Yeah, second or third.
City don't have to finish first next year.
I think the pressure has to be on City.
There's more
to
pressure on
finish first.
Liverpool to finish.
No, there's
they
not.
They just won the league.
That's not how it works.
Can you just
That relieves the pressure.
Yeah.
what?
Because
Yeah, but and that's what I said. They're going to hide behind that.
Liverpool
That's
at
why
the
I said
end of a cycle.
That's why I said they're going to hide behind.
No, we're
that.
not
They've
going to
won the
hide back.
league.
No, so the expectation at the start of the
City could do
season.
4 in a row.
Were you on the club when they made the predictions?
No.
Thank God, right? So the point is,
Whatever the answer was going to be there, man.
the point is on that show, no one had Liverpool finishing higher than 4th. third?
Actually, yes, actually, I was.
Right,
There
what
was,
did
I
you
was.
say?
I had Liverpool third. Liverpool third.
So, but that's okay. So I think that's estimating roughly where Liverpool fans thought the peak of where our ability was this
Yeah,
season.
because you just lost Klopp.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we've outperformed expectation this season. So if we're talking about graphs or we're talking about performance indicators or any of those things.
You're the whole.
wait,
And
let me
you're
land.
the
Wait, let me
whole.
land. Wait,
And
wait,
you're
let
the
me
whole.
land. Let me land.
Yeah, let's close the show. Close the show. Close the show.
No. Wait. Let me land. Like he said, the expectation was what?
Third maximum,
because
third
you lost-
max, the
Yeah, but
height
I'm-
of our expectation. So, but I don't just say one level. I don't just go Liverpool finish third. I'll give them a window of 3 to 5, right? And I would have said that would be reasonable.
Okay, so when Arsenal came second, the first time
Yeah.
against Man City, but why was the level expected?
Have something. have something, please.
Because the level of expectation has to be that you'll go up from second.
Yes,
because
to
you're
first, yeah,
yes.
right? So my level of expectation for you, if you win the league, you have to try to do it again because City's done it 4 times already. So why can't you do it? Because when we came second for the first time, when no one expected us to come second, and we was expected to just come fourth, make top 4 because we came 5th
let me
against.
land.
This is just about
wait,
Arsenal.
stop,
then.
man.
This is just about
Stop,
Arsenal.
No. Let Lawrence do it.
Chill out.
Let Lawrence do it.
I'm fighting a Liverpool fan. You don't even support a team, so do you have no horse in this
That's
race?
a fact.
Yeah. So one second. So why is the expectation? Yeah. There's no horse in this race.
Where's your horse in this race, by the way?
Bro,
your horse is
you haven't got a
knackered.
horse.
You haven't got a horse.
I love
It's
at least
legless.
they've become these guys where they can basically
least
laugh
I
at
have
everyone
a
else
horse.
because they're so.
Okay, can I box it and package it and send it to you in a different way? If you have Mo Salah and VVD next season, where do you expect to finish?
I would still say top 3. If you finish second or third, that's perfectly reasonable. But
me, that's bottling it.
But we'll have
Well,
competed.
you've never
I
won
think
it,
saying
so
that,
why would you
We have
know?
won the Premier League.
You, as an Arsenal fan, have won it when you were like 9 years old.
What are you talking
You
about?
don't
Was
know
I
what
alive when Arsenal
bottling
won the
it
3
is.
Premier Leagues?
if you're still competitive,
Yes.
which I think finishing third in the Premier League is, if it's City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
On the last day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I don't think that's all that unreasonable.
It's great.
But what's the odds of that on the
Liverpool
last
can
day?
finish 5th next year. It's possible.
It is possible.
They've massively outperformed in every metric you could have gone into the
Yep,
season
they
hoping
have,
for.
of course.
So they're older next year.
Of course they
they're
have.
losing at least one of their key players.
One.
If they go back to third, which is what you thought they were this year,
Yeah.
then they have not had a bad season.
When
next year.
Arsenal done it, the level of expectation was
about
us to
Arsenal.
keep
It's
going.
just about
No,
Arsenal.
I'm just leaving this. No, it's not about all about Arsenal.
Bro, you
using
don't-
the same metric that
you
everyone used
don't-
against
you
us
don't
against
know.
them. They
You
just
don't-
won the league
you
and everyone
don't-
is expecting to go back to
Miles,
third.
Miles,
How does that weak? How does that
you
work?
don't know what happens after you win the league. Don't pretend.
I do. I've seen my team win it 3 times. Don't talk to me
And
about
did
I
you
don't
win
know.
it the next
Don't
year?
talk to me. No, Man United won when you won it again. We've never done it back to back. That's my point. They need to do it back to back. Man City's done it 4 times.
How's that your
So
point?
what's their expectation? They've won it once. They go back to 4th. Why? Keep going.
Because-
That's why they're not great.
No, because
keep
the point-
going.
No, because you didn't ask me about
Keep
the season
going.
after. Because
going.
okay, so say that so the way that this works now, right? Teams have to exert themselves to such a high degree in the Premier League that they become exhausted. We can talk about doping, but we don't need to, right? If you exert yourself to such a degree, to
I don't think
beat-
you exerted yourself this season, though. But go on.
Okay. I mean, even then, I think you maybe underestimate how hard it is to win that many games back to back and be that intense.
I don't.
the
I've
way
done
that
it
they
last
win.
season, but we
Cup
didn't win the
final.
league, unfortunately. But we know what
But
the
you
level
didn't
it
play in the
takes.
games.
No, but I'm talking about as a clubs. You said we don't know. You don't know then because you don't play for Liverpool either. I know what is.
No, I don't, but
what
I
the
can-
level is to win 16 games in a row.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know then what a toll that takes on the players.
Yes,
So-
of course. But
so
this
you know
season
it's okay
it's
to
not.
go.
But you're not going against the same Liverpool. Not going against the same Man City that Arsenal went against, or even you went against previously when you
No,
got
but
97
we've just
points.
spoken about how we're going against a
I'm just saying,
much-
but I'm saying it's an easier season for them this season. They're coasting this season. I'm not saying you don't deserve it. You do. You've played great this season.
But
I'm
that's
saying
not an
this-
argument about where we finish
Next season.
consistently
You've-
season on
But you're
season.
talking about
though.
exerting
done a
yourself.
180.
No, but
You're
you're talking
facing the
about
wrong direction.
You're talking about
Gloves up.
you're talking about exerting yourself. I don't feel like Liverpool's exerting themselves this season. I'm not in the ropes. What you think? Because he's just talking, doing ad libs to Lawrence. I'm on the ropes. No,
You are because you're ignoring him.
No, go on. Go
No,
on,
I don't know
Lance.
if you're. I don't know. Not fully ignoring me, but I do feel like we don't only exert ourselves against Arsenal and City. I think arguably all the top sides now have to exert themselves because they're coming up against low blocks. They're coming up against all these different solutions
That's
every
bull.
week to the way that they
That's
play.
bull.
And your 3 best players are in their 30s, and your 4th best player is leaving.
And bear in mind, if we finish third next season, and then we said, right, okay,
He's not
we have
thirsty.
one
No,
chance.
no. I just want to hear. No. This is the
Specs.
This is the best part.
Make him shake it.
No,
It's
no.
empty.
Wait.
It's empty.
He
It's
just got there.
empty. It's
Specs.
empty.
Specs. Again. He just got
Shake it
there.
into
If we
the
finish,
mic.
he's on the
Shake
last
that
part.
drink
He's
into
on the
the
last
mic.
part. He's on the last part. There's drink in there.
No drinking there.
There's drink. There's drink in there.
Oh.
There's drink in there. Go on. There's drink in there. Go on.
He's
Go on.
round down. He's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I just made you
I
pour
will.
one out for yourself.
Right. There's.
All right, Miles.
You made him throw away his drink. He threw away his drink.
And that's the bottom line.
There you go.
Lawrence, leave him. Get off.
No, you ain't done anything. I just want to
Lawrence,
know.
thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It's a good fight. I like those fights. It's a good fight.
I've never seen that in my life. We've rebuilt Liverpool.
We have.
We've gone around the houses.
It will be.
We've done it.
It will be.
From my left. What a great episode.
no.
Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And
Mortimer.
if you got any thoughts
Come on.
Bob Mortimer, if you
Vic
got
Reeves,
any
please.
contacts
Live
with
with
Vic
me.
and Bob, Send them to us. We need them on the show. Thank you so much again, Laurence McKenna. That was a classic. Follow him, subscribe to him. This is a perfect guest. Unbelievable performance. Oh, man. Thank you for coming.